All right, we have reached episode 36 of Nerds by Screenlight, and we actually celebrated we didn't celebrate it because we didn't mark it, but if we go all the way...
Stand by, hold on, everyone.
If we go all the way back, all the way... still going back, all the way back. This episode, the Nerds by Screenlight, episode 1, kicked off on... It doesn't have a date.
November 20th, 2021.
November 20th, 2021. Nice. So we are celebrating, is it now 2 years. 2 years on the air.
Sweet.
So that's exciting. And that was where it all began. And so it continues to this day here in Fort Morgan, Colorado. The Nerds by Screenlight podcast. A great legacy among the... I don't know, whatever. Anyway. What I love about Zoe, there are many things I love about Zoe.
Sure.
But there's like, it's like the I've had enough of Aaron meter.
I just got here.
we've already redlined the meter.
Is this why that your Starbucks coworkers say, how is it that you're not single? Is this why?
I don't know.
I was confused.
Causation does not equal correlation. Thank you very much.
That's right.
Scientific term.
Yes.
Those are very big words.
Yes. I'm a language arts teacher. I have all the words. Not all of them, but some of them. All right, so my name's Aaron.
I'm Phil.
I'm Zoe.
And Vicki.
And here we are. Okay, so Christmas traditions that you enjoy. We can do it this way. Christmas traditions you enjoy and you like, and or Christmas traditions you just hate and do not like and do not want to ever have to do.
Okay.
So my favorite Christmas tradition, Christmas Eve, my family would read through the birth story, the Christmas, the story of the birth of Jesus and all those things. And we would have little cards with the verses, and we would go through and read around the table, like through the whole passage.
That's cool.
We haven't done it a lot lately, like, because my parents obviously they live out of state, but we did it, and I had other families that would go to Christmas with that would do it as well. So it was kind of a tradition that was kind of fun. The tradition that I don't like is having to get up early on Christmas morning.
No kidding. My sister would jump on my bed in the morning and wake me up, and I couldn't stand it because we weren't getting up till my parents were up anyway. They weren't up. Why are you waking me up? What is the point? Let me sleep.
Yeah. So there you go.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, Phil.
Well, I have two that I enjoy, but they're from different periods of my life. So
Okay.
when I was a kid, and my mom did not like it, but we as kids kind of like forced it to be a tradition.
Right.
And that was on Christmas Eve. We got to open up one gift.
Oh, okay.
So that was from when I was a kid, and a tradition that I really, really enjoy recently is since Zoe and I have been together. For Christmas, we go and eat Chinese buffets. But
We can't do that here.
Since we moved to Fort Morgan, we haven't been able to do that because there's no Chinese buffet.
There is
One that I hate is wrapping presents.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the wrapping. Zoe's good at it. I'm not.
It's not your favorite thing.
No.
Okay.
I'd rather like do gift bags for everyone.
I mean, it is easier, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, dang, now that you took mine, so like.
Well, we share it like this.
So yeah, we get Chinese, and so now we were thinking like maybe we should get Chinese like Christmas Eve so we can have it for Christmas.
The leftovers, yeah.
Right.
But I will say our first year here when we realized Chinese places were not open on Christmas because
Yeah.
in North Carolina they are. It's
Yeah.
like the only thing open. Here we found a nice little taco truck. It was the only thing open.
Okay.
So we
It
did
was
get
really
to
good.
like have a new tradition of getting tacos for Christmas.
Okay. Very
So
nice.
that was nice. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I thought about introducing maybe starting to do homemade pizzas.
Okay.
That's what we're thinking about this year.
Oh.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool.
So yeah,
Okay.
What's one that you don't like, though?
there's nothing I don't like about Christmas.
Oh, awesome.
She didn't even have to think about it.
Dude, as soon as I started getting the gifts, I was wrapping them as they were coming. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
It gets me in the mood.
Nice.
Okay.
My favorite, we would always go to church on Christmas Eve, but after that, we would drive around neighborhoods and look at Christmas lights. I think that's my favorite. And it's really low key.
That
Does it
We've
cost
been doing
anything?
it every time we come here because your neighborhood's
your neighborhood's pretty lit
It
up.
is. And Aaron's not really into it, so this year I'm like, I'm going by myself.
Yeah.
And so I listened to Lindsay Sterling's new Christmas album and
Yeah.
had like I think I did it for like 30 minutes.
So in North Carolina, there's a place Tanglewood, and they do a festival of lights, and it's like it's a drive through your car, and it's like this huge park, and they have these immaculate lights. I'm talking dragons breathing fire, and the Nutcracker. They have that. Like there's so many different like light setups.
Okay.
Sure.
And that's one thing I used to do a lot when I was a kid. I did it every year.
Okay.
Nice.
Love the lights.
Nice.
That's awesome. All
My
right. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say my least favorite.
Yeah.
It's kind of an over-encompassing Christmas without boundaries. Like where you stress yourself out because you're trying to do too much.
Yeah.
Right.
I believe in Christmas with boundaries so you can enjoy the season.
Yeah, I don't like if we were going to be here for Christmas, I'd been like, we're not even going to make, like, we're going to do everything in microwave. Like, we're not doing Christmas.
You did that. Thanksgiving was
Yeah.
almost that way.
Yeah, I was just like, it's not worth it. Like, it's too
Just
tiring.
two of us.
Yeah. All right. Well, coming up next is going to be some of the best and some of the worst.
Worst. Yeah.
Zoe has some feelings about one of the movies we're watching. So she's got feelings, which is fine. Feelings are okay. You're allowed to have feelings. So the first movie we're going to talk about here in a moment after we do our delightful intro music is Switched at Christmas. Woo! Which is the Hallmark movie with Cameron, whatever her name is, Cameron Case Burns.
DJ from Full House.
From Full House. And then a bunch of people that we sort of don't really know who they are. And I'm sure they're delightful actors and they're hardworking, I'm sure, but it was just kind of like, So we have that coming up. We're going to take that first because that one has some history, which we'll explain after the break. And then the classic, the incalculable, the greatest Christmas Carol movie of all time, the Muppets Christmas Carol is coming up after that. So stick with us and hold on because here we go because it's time to go from Denver to Littleton.
How 10 miles, people.
Yeah, it's going to be funny. Get ready. We'll be back in a sec.
Get nerdy with me. Talk nerdy to me. Get nerdy with me. All I really need for you to do is just please
I can stop.
talk to me. Talk nerdy to me.
I did. Yay. All right, welcome back to Nerds by Screenlight. My name is Aaron.
I am Phil.
I'm Zoe.
Vicki.
And so here's what brought us to this moment, okay? So I was on Twitter I've been on Twitter for a long time, and I have various feelings. Well, sorry, now it's X. Good old Elon Musk. And so there was a moment where someone tweeted about this movie like in 2019. And they were like, there's this movie where the characters, one of the sisters lives in Littleton and her twin sister lives in Denver, and they talk about going to Denver for the holidays. And it was just like this like moment of like, what? And so there's a professor over at Arapahoe Community College. Her name is Monica Fugeli. And she's amazing. I've actually sat down and interviewed her for a podcast many years ago. Anyway, so she retweeted it and shared it, and we were like there's a whole tweet thread where we're just kind of going back and forth and talking about how wacky this is. And so I said, you know what? I have never seen it. I've been complaining about it for years. It's time to sit down.
Yes.
And put on the big boy pants or the big person pants and watch the stupid movie. So I tweeted at her and I said, guess who's watching it tonight for a podcast? She says it's great and terrible. And I was like, okay, well, we'll see how that goes. So
Accurate.
Just
I
the
think.
details.
yeah. So two things. Well, a couple things before we get started. There is only one shot of actual Denver in this movie.
Yep.
And it's downtown Denver in like the Denver Park or whatever park down there. That's it.
I know.
The other shots of, and as Vicki did her research, Salt Lake
City.
City. Yeah.
I knew it didn't look like Colorado.
Yeah, no, it was not. Well, she's like, and Vicki was like, oh, just like a
It fooled me for a second.
At a glance, she's like, oh, those are the mountains. I'm like, those are not the Rocky Mountains. That is an imposter mountain range.
When did you move to Littleton? You were 10 or 11?
So we lived in Littleton. We moved to Colorado in '92, and we immediately moved to Littleton in '92.
Okay.
So we lived in Littleton Centennial from all the way from '92 until I moved in 2018 to here in Fort Morgan. So a long time.
You know.
And Littleton has never been a small town.
Yeah,
I mean, downtown Littleton is really cool during the holidays and
Yeah.
just during any time.
It's crowded.
But
It's hard to find parking.
But downtown Littleton is a like 7-block part of a larger Littleton.
Right.
And this is where it gets a little politicky, so hold on for me. So up until a certain point in like 97 or 98, I can't remember when it happened, but Littleton was a much larger city because it sits in unincorporated Arapahoe County.
Right.
Part of it did. And so I had a Littleton address for a good portion of my life. However, Arapahoe County started to get grabby with their like taxes and things they're going to do. And so the people of that unincorporated Arapahoe County part of Littleton said, well, whatever, nuts to you. We're incorporating. We're going to make our own city. Oh. And so the city of Centennial was born and became...
Oh, that's why sometimes it's called Littleton.
Yeah. So people who have lived there for a long time...
It's really confusing.
Yeah, it's a bit bonkers because Colorado is the Centennial State. So that was the idea behind this. So there's a city government. There's a city police department. It's a whole thing. I think it was because, it was also because Greenwood Village sits right next to us.
Right.
And so Greenwood Village was thinking of trying to come in and like take our, like, it was a whole thing. There was a whole lot of drama. And I'm sure if you researched it, you'll find that it's probably just kind of dumb. But at the time, it was like, we're not going to let Greenwood Village take our money and our income tax. And it was exactly in that tone. And that's,
I mean, I could see it.
yeah, people were not happy. So they incorporated, we became Centennial, and so Littleton lost a good portion. But proper Littleton stretches anywhere from Orchard University, all the way out to like C470. It is a massive town, quote unquote, massive city. It is not small.
No.
That is an absolute joke, and it makes me very, very angry.
But when I Googled it, right?
Uh-huh.
Because I knew it wasn't, but I was like, I'm curious what they say about it. And they do say it's like a small town. This urban suburban.
Yeah.
That's what people from California say. It's not a small town.
It's
We
not.
said that, right? That's been a joke. Colorado people are like, you think it's small.
And that's funny because the guy is from California. And
Right.
Yeah.
Stop moving here.
No.
Stop it.
For real.
We're full up.
We are full.
All right. So we begin with this back and forth comparing the two girls to the two
I was so
I
confused.
was so confused. I didn't know they were twins at first
I was like, why is this lady in multiple places at one time?
with different clothes on.
Like it took a few minutes for it to register. I'm like,
It's
oh,
a really,
they're twins.
It's a really wacky montage what they're trying to do here. You just didn't pick up on that? Oh my gosh.
How does she change so fast? That's what I was thinking.
Magic.
It's just like, what's going on?
Yeah,
Great start off.
It was so exposition-y. It was so heavy. And I love how they like Littleton, Colorado, and they show Littleton. That's not Littleton.
No.
I lived in downtown Littleton for about a year.
That's true.
That's not downtown Littleton. It was also not Denver. So,
Definitely not.
No. There was also a line here about, Evergreen. I live right like near Evergreen. And
Oh, yeah, you burst out laughing.
Didn't I? What did I say?
I don't remember what you said.
Evergreen, it's not that so it is like a good 29 minutes from 29 minutes from Littleton, but it is an entirely different world. It's like mountainy, like Evergreen has the...
Try going there on a weekend.
Yeah. They have all the ice skating rink, the lake. It's a badonkadonks. And so the whole Evergreen was thing. I was just like, you have got to be joking me. So
Also,
again,
what was she wearing in Colorado in December?
I just gave up on trying to figure that out.
The other girl in Littleton looked more dressed like, okay, it's winter time.
A sweater. Yeah, totally. School
Was she
teacher,
like-
I
Oh, yeah,
believed her.
Kate's just like in a
A
dress.
sleeveless dress. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Oh, and those heels. I'm like,
yeah, you couldn't
with
walk
our
in-
eye situation.
Well, it was set in an alternate universe, Denver.
Hallmark universe.
Yeah, where winter is not as severe as it can be in Denver. Mm-hmm. So she's. I love how okay, so let's just. The writing in this movie is terrible.
Aw.
The dialogue is clunky, chunky, like
It's corny.
yeah,
Oh, my Lanta.
chunky, corny, chonky, wrong. I don't even know. I can't even come up with words for this one. Now, there's some redeeming moments which we're going to talk about. We're going to get there
Yeah.
because there are some moments where it's like, oh, there's the movie I've been looking for the last 50 minutes.
I can't wait to hear those.
It's going to be great. So we get introduced to the characters. One is a teacher, which
An art teacher.
an art teacher.
Yeah.
She's okay. It's believable-ish.
It's more Coloradan than the like architect whatever.
she
I don't know.
is.
Yeah.
Are you? Or do you
I
have
got
issues with?
something.
Yes.
I had to swallow. Sorry.
It's okay.
So like when we're introduced to her as being a teacher,
Yeah.
she's like in her supply room or something.
Yeah.
She's like going through stuff and she's like holding up a painting, like staring at this painting like longingly for a while,
Yeah.
right? Did you realize the painting was nothing? It was just the bottom half was painted blue. I looked at
made
Zoe.
him
I was
so
like,
mad.
there is nothing on that painting. What is she looking at? And then you see it and it's just a blue box.
You missed it. What happens at the end when she's like standing up for her sister and like, oh yeah, now you're gonna use this money to buy supplies, right, for her art class?
Yeah.
I think she was looking at that like, yeah, they can't even paint because we have no money.
We just got blue. Okay. I don't know.
Okay.
There were so many things. Like
I think it's a valid point.
this movie just took me out of it like quite a few times. That was the first. Well, no, second time.
Yeah.
The first time was the intro montage. But
Yeah, you could tell that obviously that the room signs were made for the movie. It wasn't a real school. I'm sure it was some kind of building that did something. So then we get introduced to our senior vice president of whatever she does.
In the most sterile apartment of all time.
Yeah. So the Christmas party is in danger because the assistant, did she quit or did she leave or what happened to her?
I really don't know. That went over my
Yeah,
head.
I was just like, okay, whatever, moving on.
She's doing a party. Cool.
Yeah, yeah.
she sold a book.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Like,
she
what
sold her
about
book.
my baby?
Yeah.
I'll get your project back. We just need you for Christmas.
Yeah. So she, and it's my, what was that all? Oh, it's my baby. Okay.
Yep.
We were paying attention, I
Just
guess.
said that.
Apparently, I took extensive notes, but I just was like, all I have is it's my baby, and I don't remember what that was
It has
about.
to do with a project she was working on
Oh,
before.
yeah,
She did not want to do the party.
high-
She had her other project. She
the
was-
high priority project that she had been working.
She's like, I'm senior vice president, so this is not my role.
yeah, I had the same.
I would
look.
never say that to my boss.
For real. Sure.
bad
I'll do a
idea.
party, Yeah.
If Michael Caine had been there, he'd be like, "You're the senior vice president of being unemployed."
Yeah.
He really would.
Christmas party, yeah, let's do it. Okay, whatever. Principal is cranky pants. The school.
Oh, don't even get
was-
me started on him.
He was like I get it. With
He
her-
can't make up his mind, can he?
Well, not only that, but he was just a jerky McJerk face.
Okay, this is the only part that really ticked me off.
Oh, okay. At least you had one.
Oh, she had been like, we need to change this whole party. It's
Yeah.
been the same this whole time.
Yep.
He's like, no. And we have this donor and he gets to say whatever. And then he comes in there.
Yeah.
We need to change it. I'm like, oh, so when a man says it, like it's okay.
Oh, yeah, she did.
I was.
Oh, yeah.
You
livid.
know, sometimes it happens in real life,
I'm like,
and it's really infuriating.
Yeah, she was audible about that one.
yeah, I just want to start banging my head against the wall.
It just struck me as odd. I was just like, so this principal has nothing. He doesn't really stand for anything.
He just wants money.
Yeah.
Literally.
Not a good principal. I mean,
No.
I get that you don't want to have every character be perfect and nice and wonderful.
But still.
But if you're going to present like what a principal looks like and talks like, at least give a man something beyond just this caricature of, oh, money, 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 money. And then literally he says that. He's like, it's all about the money. I need that money. And he shows her the check and she's like, and we don't get to see how much. We just get to be
I
like-
wanted to know.
Yeah, I was like, okay, what do
It's
we
a blank check, isn't it?
I know.
Bro.
It had numbers on it. We just didn't get to see it because the movie didn't want to tell us.
Yeah.
The movie didn't want to tell us a lot of things, but it's neither here nor there.
Surprise.
Okay. Principal's Cranky Pants sponsor money. So this was weird for me. Like, I know that schools get like money, like can be donated, but it was confusing for me that there was a sponsor for this program. Like,
And they just moved there, and he's just going to give
Right.
all this money to the school.
it just it's very much like hey, we have a plot hole. We need to have some money issues. Let's make up a sponsor for the winter thingy-mabobber. Which why is it sponsored by the school in the first place? What is going on with this school? Why is
Yeah,
the school,
it feels iffy to me.
it's a little weird that the school is putting on a thing that's just kind of a public event. There's not a performance by the students in the drama club. There's not a musical performance by the band. There's not a, hey, the Cheers and the Palms are doing their routine that they worked
Yeah.
on for the big football game. They're going to perform at the community. None of this. There's no student involvement in the end when we get finally blessed movie Mary of whatever. We we get to the
An hour and 20 minutes, very reasonable time.
yeah, okay, well, yeah, I'll allow that. I'm being a bit I'm being a bit of a hyperbole person, whatever. But my point is that when we get to the end, we see this big thing that they've been talking about. There's no kids. There's no students involved. It's just a bunch of community people and adults.
Yeah,
Her kids are there.
that's it.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah,
You know?
it's one of those moments like okay, but like where did all that money go to? Like what? I don't understand.
The
I don't,
donuts.
Okay.
And the ice rink, apparently.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
God love Candace Burr, whatever her name is. Candace, what's her bucket?
We're getting cold on.
I'm gonna call her Candace Bucket.
Candace Cameron Burr.
Okay, Cameras, whatever.
Whoa,
Burr.
that's a mouthful.
I
is
did,
kind
that's
of-
a lot.
It's called
So-
Candace Cameron, I guess.
I made a note. I said facial expressions. She try hard, and like
Oh, come on, Aaron.
You're talking about the lead, right?
Yeah.
The twins. My thing, and something that I mentioned while I was watching it with Zoe, I was like, they're twins, right?
Yes.
They can look alike, but they're not supposed to sound alike.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I think she tried a little
when
bit.
she's having conversations like with her twin sister, like it just sounds like she's talking to herself. Mm-hmm. And I was like, because I had to like step out the room or something, but I could still hear it, and I'm like, who's talking right now?
Well, the thing is that they tried. Like they're like, oh well, they like Vicki said, like the whole her apartment is very sparse and very very clinical, but there wasn't like. If the apartment was a signification of her personality, she would not ever be smiling. She would be very much, oh, well, okay, well, I'm the senior vice president. I don't have to do this. Like this, like almost into like non-emotional responses with a bit of anger behind that to understand like, okay, this lady has been working her professional life. She doesn't have a significant other. She spends a lot of her time at work. Well, that would mean that she lacks the emotional connection to people. She's very brutal. She's very clinical. She's very critical of people. She doesn't understand social emotional thing. Like all of that could have been done. It just maybe they were worried that people that the viewers wouldn't like the corporate Cameron, whatever, Candace.
This is Hallmark.
Yeah, it's so.
I will say for being a Hallmark movie, the effects of them somehow having her in two places at the same time on screen, and it doesn't look bad.
Yeah.
Because there was one time where they're hugging. I'm like, how would they do that? I guess someone that has the same hair. Or...
Yeah, like
Yeah.
a double.
There's
Yeah.
there's a lot of cool stuff with green screen that
Now,
you can do.
I do feel like she was more like what you were just describing in the very beginning.
Yeah, but then it just kind of
Yeah,
went
because
away.
I was like, whoa, I've never seen her act like that. 'Cause she
Yeah.
felt more like her character and
Mm-hmm.
as the mom, like that's more of who she is like in Full House and
Right,
stuff.
right.
So I was like, I noticed that right away because I'm like, ooh, that's weird. She doesn't normally act like that. But then
Yeah.
I know what you're saying because then she was smiling and like
Yeah.
being different.
What else here? Art teacher. So dad is not an actor. Like
He was epic. He set them up and I loved it.
I had to think of a minute.
Because I feel like if I had a twin or a sister, my dad would do the same thing.
yeah.
Like
You know
set-
who else isn't an actor?
What?
Her children.
Yeah, I've never seen any
Yeah.
of them.
Her children.
But the girl's actually her daughter.
Really?
Oh,
Yes,
really?
that's
I
her
didn't know
daughter.
that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Interesting.
That
I thought that was a cool touch, personally.
Like that is cool to know, but anytime you see the brother and sister interact, I'm like, that's not real.
yeah.
Like it's not
Yeah.
believable. Like siblings don't act that way.
True.
I also think so there was a paint. Oh, you've got paint on you or something like that. And I was just like, okay, look.
Yeah.
We could work together, back each other up.
Let's see, awkward paint situation. Christmas sister brunch.
Yellowstone.
There was a lot
an
of
actor.
front loading of exposition.
He is an actor.
Okay,
Aaron.
all right. Well,
He's in Yellowstone.
Yeah.
okay, good for him. Congratulations.
Well, he got better at it, I guess.
Yeah.
I hear
he was a
people
good
love
dad.
Yellowstone. I haven't seen it.
I haven't either.
Anyway, so this whole like the thing about this movie, and I know I just need to get off it and just accept the fact that this is not the greatest Oscar-winning movie of all time, but like the exposition-heavy dialogue doesn't stop in this movie.
True.
Every turn is like, oh well, back in the day you did that. Oh yeah, I remember. Oh my gosh, and I felt like this and this and this. It's like, I don't need to be told everything. I want to see something's place. But the closest we get is nothing really at all. It's just, we don't even like. It's just we missed it by this much, not by this much, but by this much, and it just makes me angry.
I can tell.
There's a lot of promises they made to their late mother,
They did.
and we
Apparently
never
so.
we never get to see.
Can we
her.
talk about her dedication to hiding gifts? For
Yeah,
them,
like,
getting all those
hide them all
gifts.
over
I'm
the
like,
house.
you're super mom.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, well, she's not Supermom because she unfortunately didn't. She died. Superman would have lived.
She's not.
You could
immortal.
throw something at you.
Jay.
There's nothing to throw. It's so frustrating. You don't want to damage the equipment or actually hurt you.
I take it
I'm
back.
so
That was a dark joke. But here's the thing: they mention mom so much in this movie. Oh, mom. Oh, I promised mom. Oh, mom. Mom's promise. Mom's thing. Mom is not like. Can we see mom? Can we have a flashback to mom? Can we
No.
do any of that? No. Yes, Zoe. That's the movie in exactly that tone. No. No soup for you. Okay, fine, movie. I don't have to like you then. Promises to mom. Okay. I have so many notes like expositional overload, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point.
We can go through the cliches if you want.
Dialogue is bad and repetitive. Okay, so the switching places construct.
Phil goes, isn't this what they did in Parent Trap?
In Freaky Friday.
And
I'm like,
Yeah.
yes,
and they
but
did
it was different.
They did it and better.
Yeah, I'm better.
Yeah.
It just
And
That's
the thing
becoming
is,
really
like
cliche.
once you figure out like that's what they're doing, you can right off the bat pick out every problem they're going to have.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're going to meet some dudes, fall in love with them, and it's like, oh, but it's not me. You're technically in love with my sister, and
Right.
it's
You're
like-
not allowed to fall in love. Good luck with that.
Yeah. Yeah, no romance. It's like
And they were both
And they
already,
immediately break
yeah.
the rule. Like,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
They were already involved before they even made the rule, basically.
Yeah, it's so
I do like how she goes, "Why is Grant in my condo?" I did like that.
so there are like so that moment like that's kind of like okay, this is possible. This has some good possibilities, and then it just kind of returned to that whatever. So here's a question I have.
Okay.
Given what we've watched 120 minutes of this thing, do we? And this is a question I asked, and Vicki and I kind of debated this a little bit. Do these sisters even like each other, or really even know each other?
According to them, they don't, because they don't hang out anymore. And
Yeah,
But it was only 2 years, they said.
yeah. Like these are grown.
it does feel like it's a fake argument.
Yeah, there's a lot of like this whole like disconnection.
I feel like they do kind of hit it on the head eventually about how they're jealous of one another.
Yeah.
Yeah. Zoe, do you have a sister?
No, I'm an only child.
I have a sister. When we argue
Uh-huh.
and when things get tense, it is more intense than what it showed on the screen.
Yeah.
Aaron knows.
Yeah.
And we'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it is like you would think that there would be some kind of like I don't know. It was like I didn't believe it. I didn't believe that they were obviously sisters or twins. Like it just was so not believable. It was just like okay.
Because it's the same person.
I
She's
yes.
talking to herself.
Thank you, Zoe.
But honestly, Lindsay Lohan did a better job in the Parent Trap.
As a child,
Your name is Captain Obvious, and yes,
Just saying.
Sherlock.
You do
You've
something.
hit. You've broken the case open.
Oh.
She found something to throw.
You missed by a mile and a half.
I did it on the head. I told you I'm so proud of myself.
Go, Vicki.
Thank you.
All
He who has
right.
no aim at all.
So
He's smiling.
what I love about this is because if they've done it, so they switch places, and she's like, "Oh, you don't have to teach any classes. Is this Christmas break on?" She's like, "Oh yeah." She's like, "Oh, I don't have to teach any classes. Then I can switch." And it's just like, okay, well, the reason why she said it is because people would get mad if all of a sudden she was in the classroom teaching, and she clearly didn't have a license. Or
and she
anything.
also thought her kids would not be home.
yeah,
Her niece and nephews.
But
wouldn't
she
be
did
there.
that on purpose. She told them, and I thought that was kind of funny.
yeah,
I was irritated by the fact that they don't go into anything about their real dad, like
Yeah.
not being able to take them. I wanted the story.
yeah.
Like, is this a thing he does all the time? Is this an emergency that like never happens? I wanted that, and I didn't get it. That was
Yeah.
frustrating.
I guess my assumption was that she wanted her to spend time with their aunt.
It was like a
It was like a setup.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I do appreciate that the kids were not figured it out fairly quickly.
Well, I mean, it was pretty
Agreed.
obvious. She burnt the bacon. She
Right.
burned the eggs. She
Right.
didn't even know what kind of milk he liked.
You're right.
I'm like,
Hello, Auntie. We know it's you.
Who has 2% milk and whole milk at the same time?
I don't.
I was
know.
thinking that too.
I don't. That doesn't make any sense.
and that kid's like, I don't drink 2% milk. I'm like, what? What are you talking about?
And why would you have 2%?
I will say she whipped
That's
those
fair.
kids into shape.
Yeah, she
'Cause
does.
They were a little spoiled.
Yeah, they were. They were getting. They
Give
were.
me a spoon. A spoon? You're
Yeah,
teenagers.
so he's like, you guys are teenagers. Hello. Just like, get up and get your own spoon.
We've actually had that happen, like at the school.
Yeah.
Like if we're standing in the lunchroom and someone's like, "Oh, could you get me this?" I'm like, "No, you can get it your own self. Pick up your feet and go do it." Like I am no.
Well, there's a sign in my elementary school in the cafeteria that says, "Your mother doesn't live here. Pick up after yourself."
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you tell them, lunch ladies.
Yeah. Let's see. Hijinks, stupid hijinks. More notes of stupid hijinks. This is stupid. I actually have that. This is stupid.
Karen.
Wow.
If I wrote down notes, I'd have a lot of that too.
So teachers lounge. I was like, this is gonna be great.
Did you kind of love how she hyped up being a teacher? Like, you get a teacher's lounge
Yeah.
and all these things.
Right.
Like,
Like, okay, that doesn't sell. That doesn't sell her on
I
it.
do want to go on the record, though, that Justina did see the teachers lounge at Columbine. She was like, this is pretty nice. And I was like, thanks. I appreciate you saying that.
So discount Paul Rudd arrives.
I like him.
As an actor, I think he's okay.
Well-
He was one of the few bright spots in this movie for me.
I liked his character. I liked the story of that romance.
Yeah. So obviously the romance situation is discount Paul Rudd had gone on a date with her sister.
His name is Tom Kinder. His character's name is Tom Kinder, for
Okay.
the record.
We'll go
We
with
can call him Discount Paul Rudd.
discount Paul Rudd. So there's that little dynamic of, but she's her sister that he dated, and so she knows him, but she doesn't want to let him know that she knows him, and it's just like, ooh, like that was one of the moments where I'm like, okay, this could be a little bit more fun. It's gonna amp up the concern. She's gonna make us mistake in what she says. She's gonna give away the trick. So I did.
but
Yes.
if he truly cared about the other sister,
Yeah.
why are you immediately going after her twin sister? That
Yeah.
like
That's
you
weird.
just
That
met?
is
Yeah.
weird.
It is a little strange.
And also him, you look slightly familiar. I'm like slightly familiar.
Yeah.
If I don't know, if I see somebody who resembles anybody I've gone out with, I'm like, I don't know.
Right?
And it's just like, whoa,
So actually, I have
like a weird twitch or
I
something.
have a story about that. This is hilarious. So, back way back in the day, I was on eHarmony and was doing eHarmony stuff, and I went out with this girl to a date or two or whatever, and it didn't work out.
I don't know the story.
It
Go
was,
ahead.
it kind of felt like we weren't a good match or whatever. So we didn't go out for a third date, whatever. So fast forward like a couple of years later, and I'm hanging out with some of my young adult group at like a place or whatever, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this is that person. We'll call her Jamie. Here, this is Jamie." And I look, and it's the woman I dated 2 or 3 years ago. Now I have a memory for
Right.
I have a memory for faces, and the names come second. But I knew I knew her. I was like, I dated this girl at some point. So I'm going through my emails, trying to find my old eHarmony emails, and I found it. Her name was Jamie, which is not her real name. And she was like, what? And I was like, oh, good Lord. And this is the curse of having a great memory that I have, because I can remember people and things and events. And people are like, I don't remember that ever, or I hadn't even thought about that in years. I'm
You're
like,
really good with like historical
Yeah.
dates and
Yeah.
these details.
so I was like, so I think we went on the Harmony dates a couple years back, and she's like, what? And I was like, oh, I
Give
hope
me a
Why would you
break.
do that?
I
I wouldn't say anything.
I can't not say, because here's the thing, I know her. Like we've been together, like we were together on 2 dates, and so I was
Yeah.
like, well, I can't not, because it would be awkward if I didn't. And I was just like, okay, I gotta say something. So it was awkward.
No,
of course.
it's one of your best qualities.
Yeah, I just can't not. I just can't shut up. So it was as awkward as Phil would imagine. And she was like, "Oh, okay," and she got real quiet. Like I think she was trying to remember it and she didn't, and I think she felt bad that she didn't. I was like, I
Okay.
have a really good memory. So
Oh, that's
something
really
like
awkward
that
too.
recently happened to me as well.
Really?
Oh.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
But it wasn't as fast as what you're.
okay.
So me and my dad were actually out to dinner or lunch, whatever, and I was like, our waiter just looks so familiar. My dad's like, you're right, he does. So we told him, and then he goes, yeah, you look familiar too, and I'm like,
Uh-oh.
what? Because I was not expecting that, right?
Yeah.
I was like, maybe like you look like someone from a movie or something. Once he said that, like I went to the bathroom and I like really started thinking about it, and I was like, I know him. We dated, and then as soon as I found out, I was like, Dad, we gotta go. We gotta go.
That is a Hallmark movie.
Yes.
That's great.
And I'm like, we're never coming back. Because I wonder if he had this same epiphany moment,
Right.
like, oh, we dated at one,
Yeah,
like, because we
yeah.
only went on one date.
Yeah.
But I remember it very well because it was horrible and not a good time.
Okay.
So yeah,
Was this locally or is this somewhere else?
yeah. This is in Longmont.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Close enough.
Yeah, I didn't tell you because I was just like, oh my god, this is. I don't ever want to
Wow.
remember this ever.
Pull the
again.
escape cord. Pull the escape cord. Abort, abort, abort.
Yeah. So when I took my dad to the eye doctor, I ran into someone
Lovely.
Someone that you used to know.
yeah, that I don't want to know again.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's a funny story. That
It is funny.
It is weird when that
But
happens.
not fun for you.
No, because I mean, I haven't lived there in like over 10 years.
Okay.
So I'm like,
So he's still waitering at, oh boy. Okay. Well, you probably made the right choice. Dodged a bullet there.
I think,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly, he had a better job when we
Oh.
went on a date. But yeah, no. And
Things
he's
hap-
married now. Wow.
Okay. Okay. Well, there's
that.
someone took that project on.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. So
We derailed. Sorry.
it's fine. So the smile.
It was just fun. I was entertaining for me.
More entertaining than this movie we're talking about.
Yeah, so much more. So the dude's here with his smile, and he smiles, and the bing, and me and Vicki.
Okay,
both
we're
rolled
like,
our eyes.
are you serious?
Yeah, it was.
his
It,
little
My
curls.
my thing was like every time one of the guys is on screen, they play
Yeah.
that stupid romance music.
Yeah.
That's like very like soap opera.
Yeah.
Lovey-dovey. Like every time it's just showing the dude and it's like da 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 da, and it's like
It gets you in the feels.
I want to know if they
made me
recycle the
annoyed.
soundtrack for every film or if they do some variation.
yeah.
I have that question.
So
But how many they put out? They're probably like stock.
it is a factory. It is a factory of movies that have come out. So her house, the art teacher's house, has a really nice house for an art
Yeah,
teacher's salary.
that's fair.
In Littleton, Colorado. Are you for real, movie?
But all of her Christmas lights were up.
Most of them.
Todd had to help.
Todd had to help, of course. No, I was
Good
like,
old Tom.
The house is really nice, and the inside, like, she's got
Yeah.
some really nice stuff.
Yeah.
So either her ex must be paying her some good alimony.
There were mortgages paid.
I
That
don't-
still would be really expensive.
It was too nice of a house for teacher salary.
I
And-
just love when her dad walks in and he's like, Chris, why are you here? And she's like, Dad, we need to get you glasses.
At this, you just give him this look like, hi. It's like, he remembers. His daughter was stood up.
Yeah.
He's holding him accountable. At least somebody is.
yeah.
Yeah. So then sing along with that house, and now the comparison montage between how they're living their life. So the thing you mentioned about the bacon doesn't burn like that. I have burned
I wonder
bacon.
why you were annoyed.
Bacon doesn't burn like, oh, it's just a little burnt. No, burnt bacon is smoke. It is bad, and it was far too clinical and clean. That was
My thing was someone beeped.
yeah, it's just my thing.
Okay. My thing was when she pours it out of the pan.
Where's
no,
the grease?
No grease came out whatsoever. It just like bacon fell out. There was no grease, no nothing. I'm like,
That's not realistic.
Yeah, it was I no. I have no. That's not how you do anything. She also doesn't know how to open bacon. I don't know if you
That was funny.
It's like, how do you not?
She doesn't cook. She makes those juices.
But how do you? Basic human intelligence says to open a plastic container of food, you should be able to whatever.
oh yeah, I was mocking it as she was doing it. I was like, what is this? What do I like? Kind of like Jack Skellington with the snow.
Yeah.
What's this? What's this? I don't know what I'm doing. Like,
I want some bacon, but I don't know how to make it.
How do I do?
There you go.
Does a thing.
And even the dog looks sad, like she didn't give.
Oh,
him
I
enough
love the
food.
dog.
Yeah.
The dog's amazing. He's like, you're not my mama. Like,
Oh yeah.
I don't trust you. The kids are in on it, so they find out who she is. I do. This is the moment where she looks at the son, and she goes, "Oh, you're adorable." Like he says something.
Oh
and she
yeah, I
shuts
was
him
like,
down.
why didn't you make the cookies yourself? That's what it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
She ordered the
she was-
cookies, and she's like, "You're adorable."
yeah,
Like,
that,
I
that
was
cracked
like,
me up a
yes,
That
little
was
bit.
great.
We've got the dialogue we've needed.
That was great.
It's arrived, and then we went to the next scene, and I was like, and let down again.
It's like when I first moved here and I was the secretary, and they were like, I think I was talking about like buying a scarf, and they were like, "Do you knit? Do you make them on your own?" And it's like, "You're adorable."
Oh, bless your
I'm not
heart.
a pioneer woman. I grew up in the South. We buy things.
Yeah.
I don't know.
She also stumbles over have you been to the Denver Museum of Nature and Science? Like, it's totally, like, clunky. Like, you got to admire her for trying, but...
But it was a good gift idea.
I thought so.
For what he was
Yeah.
talking about.
It I usually just called it the Denver Museum of History or whatever. Like, the Denver
It's a
Museum...
cool museum.
The Denver Museum of Nature and Science is the new name. It's been around for 15 years, but before it was the Denver Museum of Nature or the Denver Science Museum or whatever. And yeah, let's see. Oh, we finally get our one picture of Denver, the skyline. We get it.
For a half a second.
Have a second, and then we're back to Utah. What else here? Nope is another note I had.
Just no.
Just
Nope.
There's a movie called Nope.
So they talk about, how does Littleton do this every year? It's always so nice. It's so small. And I was like, it's just not a small town. It is an actual incorporated city.
You try drive finding parking in downtown Littleton. You do that.
Yeah, the Knights walk on Maple Street, which is not a street in Littleton.
Oh.
There's Main Street.
Like in every town.
There's no
Yeah,
Maple.
yeah, it's accurate.
I said, that's not downtown Littleton. Littleton is not small. Denver is less than an hour away, which is funny because Discount Paul Rudd says that.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, yeah, Denver's just down the road.
And I'm like, technically, he's right. It's less than an hour away. It's 20 minutes.
Yeah, you can get on the light rail and get there.
And whenever they all like meet up,
Yeah.
and Littleton at the Winter Fest thing,
Yeah.
The two that came from Denver, they get there in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like there's like they show them go in and get like ice cream or whatever, and by the time they get out, the other people have arrived.
Yeah. They also talk about how, I have like, when do you go down to Denver? Oh, I go down to Denver when I want to go see things or do things. And I'm like, Littleton has everything that downtown Denver has. It's not like, it just was like, this is not, Fort Morgan has a movie theater for crying out
Right.
loud. It just seems to say that, Littleton's a small town where you don't have anything. You just have a little chunky, clunky downtown area.
It's like, no, we're gonna
An ice
drive to
cream shop.
something 10 miles away instead of 20 or whatever, and get something that's just as good a quality and maybe a little less crowded, but probably not.
My note after that whole Littleton, Littleton doesn't have a lot to do, so I have to go to Denver. And I was like, do better, movie. Do better. It's terrible.
Plus, they didn't bring up hiking at all.
Yeah, no.
Or skiing. That
Yes.
is like a Colorado, Denver area staple. Those things come up.
Yep.
I do. When he was in his little legging short situation, felt very Colorado. And
Yeah. They didn't have, what car she drives a car. She's just like, it's a Colorado, I don't know, it was a Subaru or something. I don't
Subarus are the Colorado
they
car.
are.
I don't remember. Not Denver. Again, more notes about not Denver. Mr. Shiny, which is the guy
That's
with the
my nickname for him.
smiling face.
Mr. Ding when he smiles.
Yeah. So
You like him.
our discount pal, Paul Rudd, is a lawyer.
Yeah. He's giving that up.
Oh, yes.
That's
of
To
course.
do charity work. And
Yeah.
help,
Charity work.
like,
He's going to be an angel investor. He is a walking cliche, and I don't like him.
Oh my!
I
Lanta.
like him.
He's just like, it's like this whole thing of like, what? Oh, you are too perfect.
It's okay.
Sort of.
Can leave discount Paul Rudd alone.
I will admit that he is, of the two guys, he's the more believable. Like,
Yes.
I actually do. I know I said I don't like him, but I'll given the choice between the two, I'll take
I
discount Paul
like
Rudd.
Greg too.
Well, what's his name? Greg?
Yeah.
He did something that caught me way off guard.
Okay.
I'm like, why would you do that? So it's like when he runs up to kiss who he
yeah.
thinks is Chris and ends up kissing Kate. Like,
It's like, you know they're
how are
friends.
you gonna? She just left you and walked away. How are you going to like chase her down and just immediately run up and kiss her again without even saying hi, hello. Like,
And it wasn't even
she
her.
just told you that.
That's
like,
fair. Aaron, don't ever do that to me,
She
please.
just, she just told you that she's her twin sister, basically, and then you're going to come up and just assume that it's her. Like, you got to figure that out first, man.
Now thinking about it, I think they did that because that was in the moment she was telling him, like, I'm not who you thought I was.
Dramatic.
Yeah, that's
effect.
when
To
she was
Todd.
telling Todd. Yeah,
And in the past, that's why Todd left and never, like, they never went on their date because he saw the sister kissing another guy. And I think it was like a recreation of, like,
Which
all that.
to me, as a sister, I'm like, why would you even think about doing that about like your sister's date? Unless you were trying to sabotage.
Right.
But usually it's like or if you're trying to watch. But if you're trying to watch, you wouldn't want to be in a point where you would make that mistake. I thought it was really unrealistic.
I do like the part where they're like, "Who is this?" And he's like, "Who are you?" And then they're like, "Who is she?" It's kind of like the three-way Spider-Man meme when they're all pointing at each other.
So yeah, there are genuine moments where this movie does figure it out and like hits its stride, and you're like, okay, let's keep going. No, we're not going to keep going.
Yeah, it doesn't last long.
No, it doesn't. So, I didn't even know. Montage with making stuff.
Bruh. They're architects.
So there's a list of Christmas cliches.
Yeah.
Oh, his
gingerbread houses were awesome.
okay, but his pictures of his architect drawing was terrible. It looked. No offense to Vicki, but it looks like her kids could have drawn that better.
No offense taken.
It looked.
No offense taken.
I mean, it wasn't even on graph paper. Number one.
Oh, my land.
It's like, have you ever seen an architect in a movie before? They just got him like drawing like a little house.
No, that's fair. Like my dad's a retired engineer, and he had like, it was like sheets of white paper, but it was basically like graph paper.
Yeah.
So yeah, that absolutely makes sense.
Okay. All right, where are we at in this movie?
Basically, I mean, I think
We're nearing the end,
Yeah.
Aaron. Hang on.
Thank
it's
God.
a happy ending.
Yeah, it is.
You sound so.
Oh, you had Christmas.
Oh yeah,
cliches.
Christmas cliches that show up in this movie. There's
Okay.
13.
Oh, God.
Lucky 13. Number 1 opens with the city scene.
That's not even the city.
It says a city, not the city. Number 2, Candace Cameron Burr. that it's her.
Period.
She's part of the cliche. Number 3, career-driven woman.
Yes.
4, Christmas festival.
Yes.
5, deceased parent.
Yeah.
6, mistaken
Mom.
identities. 7, tree buy and trim.
Yep.
Okay.
They both did
8,
that.
charity work. 9,
Todd.
condos.
Yeah.
Yep.
10, playful food fight.
Yes, when they're making the gingerbread houses,
Yeah.
and they're throwing flowers. Okay.
11, carolers who are not actually singing the music in the background.
Yeah.
12, ice skating scene.
Yeah.
And 13, of course, mistletoe.
Oh yeah, they got to bring that one
yeah.
out.
Yep. So romantic glances are happening in this movie. There's a moment, and I don't remember what the song was, but we both looked at each other and said, "What is up with this music? This is terrible." Was it the music at the office party, or what was it?
Yeah, I don't remember, but I just was like, the violins, something.
No, the lyrics were just wacky,
Oh, yeah.
and it was like, "What is going on here?" Like she's singing
There's
about
something about wrapping paper in
Yeah.
the lyrics.
It was totally
weird.
like this. The music sounded Christmassy. The lyrics did
Were
not.
badly written.
Yeah, we just were like, "Oh my God, make it stop, please."
I'm surprised Zoe liked this movie as much as she did, just because of the opening song. It's the one that I really like that she hates. Baby, it's cold
Oh,
outside.
yeah.
so
Well,
that's
I
guess
looked
that
at her. I
was
was
my
like,
first
"Oh,
one.
we're in for
that's
it."
Avril Lavigne.
No way.
Yeah, we were
Yes.
talking about it.
Yeah,
Why did Avril? I loved you. Why'd you redo that song?
Avril's got to make that money, yo.
Oh, I should send you. The Holiness family did a parody to that, where it's basically the guy. He's trying to be like woke and trying to be like I really can't stay. Well, let me call you a cab. He's trying to like not be creepy. It's funny. I'll send it to
Okay.
you.
Okay.
There you go. So the office party with a very lame DJ. Whatever the DJ's playing is terrible.
I looked at him. I was like, he is getting way too into it.
Yeah, and we're just doing. No, it was terrible. What I did appreciate is the boss, the angry, whatever bossy boss, has a character arc. she signs up to buy one of the gingerbread houses.
And has the ugly sweater
I
on.
liked her art
Yeah,
with
I-
the lights.
that-
I was like, she wins. She wins. I'm with them.
That surprised me because she always had like this evil,
Yeah.
like demeanor. Seemed very mean.
She was
and
dressed
then like
always in black and dark grays, always looking very severe. And I was like, all right, you're an archetype, you're a stereotype. Good, great.
I felt like her arc was believable. Like she just had a little smile, just a little warmth.
yeah,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
worked. It worked. Habitat for Humanity, yada yada yada. Ice cream at Christmas, which to be fair, I've had ice cream at Christmas. It's-
Peppermint ice cream at Christmas
I love
is
Christmas.
the bomb.
Yeah. I mean, ice cream.
Yeah.
I love Christmas too. But
Yes. Yes.
So we get the reveal. I'm her. I'm this. I'm that. I can't do that. La, 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 I'm running away. Wah, la, la, la. And then he's just like, what? So she back to Littleton we go.
yeah, he's that guy's just
he's so sweet with the paintbrushes.
yeah. But he's like the
And honestly, kind of like what he says, like he's pretty much known the whole time that it wasn't Kate because that's not Kate. Like that's not her vibe.
Yeah.
dork.
Again, so this is what this movie does because it's not actually in Denver, but it's set. So we had the Denver Museum of Nature and Science clunky dialogue, and then they're like, "Oh, well, where did you get these amazing carol singers or whatever?" "Oh, I got them from the Denver Theater District." And I'm like, "Okay, look, you could have said the DCPA or the Denver Center for Performing Arts, but instead you had to go clunky in the Denver Theater District."
Maybe it's for the outsiders who don't know.
Yeah.
Or you could just say Denver Center for Performing Arts, like we made a deal with them, and that would have been like, oh, that's an actual place in Denver. There's not. I mean, there's a theater district, but it's not the. It's whatever.
Okay.
I feel like they do like a lot of that.
Are you hitting your head on your microphone? We need to come up with a scale of Zoe's annoyed with Aaron. Like the "Are you kidding me?" is like
If you need somebody to throw at him, you can use
4.
that.
And then the banging the head on the microphone is like a 7. I don't know if we've seen the 8, 9, and 10
Probably
version.
not yet.
Buckle up, podcast listeners. Here we go. Let's see how far we can get tonight with the pushing the meter to 10, turning up to 11.
No.
And moving on. So sister is here,
Yeah.
and she's not mad, which I wanted her to get mad at the beginning of that conversation, and
Yeah.
for her to kind of go,
Or at least be annoyed.
right. But she was just totally like, okay, well, whatever, we're doing, yeah, like, okay, that was very
Well,
inconsequential.
she was very like, hey, are you okay?
Yeah.
I'm guessing she's the older one of the two of them.
However many minutes older she is.
Well, as an older sister,
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
the role I usually take where I'm like,
Yeah.
how are you doing? I'll deal with my feelings later. Let me deal with you.
Right. We all miss each other. We've been heavily. There's mom keeps getting dropped into the conversation. The confusion is really awkward between who is who.
At that point, yes, I even got confused.
Yeah, I was just like,
I
who
was able to keep up. So I mean,
apparently
Zoe,
you,
I couldn't remember what one of them was wearing, so then I got really
right.
confused.
Yeah, so like I helped Zoe out, but yeah, I don't. I think I was paying too much attention than I should have.
No, not in the beginning. You definitely weren't.
Is there Mortal Kombat
what is-
involved again?
No,
No.
he just-
So we've started watching the movies downstairs,
Okay.
which is away from my game room, so
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I actually pay attention.
He asked me this like question. If he would have been paying attention, he would have known. And I'm like, dude, are you even watching this?
Yeah, because I was looking at it, but it just wasn't registering in my head what I was looking.
That's a good idea.
You failed
to self.
You failed the switched at Christmas IQ test. Phil.
Yeah. Yeah.
Failed.
Yeah.
I failed too, so I'm right there with you. I'm not smart enough to pay attention to this movie. Principal is a dummy.
Yeah.
The other sister reveal. So discount Paul Rudd like leaves because he's so mad and upset that he lied to her, and a whole bunch of other
This is a
stuff.
normal
A
response.
random dude kissed her twice. Okay. Like.
There's a title for his autobiography. A random dude kissed her twice.
Yeah.
Or a chapter in the autobiography written by him at some point in his future. I like the real you. It's sort of okay dialogue, like the little back and forth, and then there's kissing happening, and then Gabriel Dixon's son. There's some character stuff we missed with that kid. Like we want to know more about what's the dynamic between with the kid and what's going on here. Then Kate, we have a meet cute with Kate again. And there was always that we find out the real story behind the kissing situation. And then I got nothing. Mistletoe, kisses, and blarg. Those are my notes.
Blarg.
Yeah.
Blarg.
They get the guys. They
Yeah.
have a happy Christmas.
Woo! Roll me some credits.
Yeah, but I love it though. Like, if you just think like outside, and it's like she just brings in this like these kids don't know this man.
Yeah.
And she brings in this random dude on Christmas.
Right.
Like, hi, like basically meet your new dad.
Right.
And he comes up and he's like puts his hand out like, hi, I'm whatever. And it's just
Are you talking about Todd? Because he's
He's
been
Mr.
at the
Shiny.
house the
Grant.
whole time. Okay.
Well, no, great. I hadn't thought about
Greg,
this.
Grant,
Yeah.
whatever. Graham, whatever his
I don't know.
name is.
Okay.
I think it is Greg. I just like to call him Mr. Shiny.
And discount Paul Rudd. Okay.
Should we move on?
What is our rating of this movie?
You go first.
Flirting.
I would give it an 8 because I would probably watch it again.
Oh, wow. That's a pretty high score.
I went into it not knowing how I was going to feel, kind of with the Muppets. Same. I didn't know how I was going to feel about it.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
Aaron.
I actually enjoyed it.
Aaron, your rating? Just for contrast.
Can't wait to hear this.
Remember, I have something to say.
Well, in that case, 11.5. No, I mean it's
not the worst movie in the world.
no,
Yeah,
it isn't.
Aaron.
It's not Pinocchio.
Right.
It's not
No.
Polly Shore's Pinocchio. I would say like 6 to 6.5.
Okay, that's
like
Wow.
it's got there's some moments in this movie genuinely where I was like, hey, the movie showed up. It's here. Ooh, rock solid. And then there's the rest of it. So it's got some bright moments. You have to admire them for trying to do the Lindsay Lohan kind of like whatever movies that they've done with that Freaky Friday and Parent Trap. You have to admire them for trying it.
Yeah.
And then it didn't land. I think it would have been more interesting if we had done something like Doppelgangers, like these two sisters didn't know they were twins and they suddenly discovered each other. That would have amped up the kind of tension of they would run into each other or run into their boyfriends throughout the movie in different parts of Denver and Littleton, and there would be some hijinks there, and eventually they'd figure out who each other was and whatever. But it didn't feel right. So
All right, I agree. I was going to give it a 6.5.
okay, Vicki.
I feel like the low rating one of the four of us. I would give it a 6 because I did like it. Hallmark movies are not known for being classic, awesome stories. They're known for being feel good. The predictability is part of the formula to get you to kind of relax.
Yeah.
It was very cheesy. It has some heartwarming moments and some things that I actually liked. It like Discount Paul Rudd. I liked that character. I liked that storyline. So I would say 6.5 for me.
Okay, there we go. Well, coming up next, we're going to take a short break in the music.
You gotta open
thing,
your present.
And we'll. Wow.
Present.
We really. So Zoe was kind enough to have picked up. Zoe and Phil brought presents for us. We're giving them
We got
Fiero
chocolate.
Rocher.
The most expensive looking chocolate in
Yeah.
the world.
Yeah.
When I was a kid.
Most expensive looking.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I was like, these things are like $500 or something. I've never had them.
We spared no expense for you, Phil and Zoe. Spared no expense.
That's $1,000 right there.
Yeah.
All right, when we come back, we're going to tackle one of the best Christmas movies of all time, and I'm excited to have this conversation. We'll see how it goes. So when we come back, it's the Muppet Christmas Carol here on Nerds by Screenlight. Be back in a sec. All right, welcome back to Nerds by Screenlight, where we are. Well, I'm eating the Ferro. How do you call it? What's it? It's Ferrar Rocher.
Ferrero.
Rocher.
Maybe.
The chocolate that looks like it's $1 million.
Yeah.
$1 million.
I've got like caramel milk chocolate in there. and stuff
The
like-
hazelnut is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, love hazelnuts.
So I shouldn't have eaten before I needed to talk. The critical podcast mistake by a podcast person is doing that and then creating the most amazing ASMR that you didn't really want or need want to listen to. All right, so it's Muppet Christmas Carol, and it's my favorite.
Yes.
There's not a lot of Christmas movies that can challenge this one in the ring. So I guess because we've watched it so many times.
Aaron quotes this like you quote the Grinch.
Yeah,
It has
Literally.
a lot of good quotes.
yeah,
It does.
so much fun. Was this your guys' first time?
Yeah, mine.
Last time I seen it, I was a little kid. So.
Okay, so this is like your first adult experience.
I actually have a story about the Muppets.
Okay.
So when I was 5, my grandparents took me to Disney World,
Okay.
and they had like a 3D theater experience. With the
I went to
Muppets.
that. I've been to
It
that.
scared the bejesus out of me.
It wasn't crazy about it either.
And doesn't like Snuffleupagus like sneeze on you or something?
Something like that.
Terrified me.
That sounds more like
it
4D.
didn't. It didn't turn me off of the Muppets though. I still watched like the Muppet movie with the aliens and so.
Oh, Muppets from Space.
Yeah.
I love Muppets from Space. Yeah. Okay, so what was your impression? What was like overall reaction before we dig into the stuff?
I will definitely be adding it to my Christmas watch list
Yeah, it's good.
Makes me happy.
because I kind of went in like I'm gonna hate this.
Yeah,
And
she-
then-
I know.
Before she
I'm
was-
kind of the same way. When the Muppet, I'm like, okay, rest of the Muppet's fine. Ooh, it's good.
but it was amazing. It's
really, really good.
So
But
good.
before we watched it, she thought it would be worse than Switched.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
But she was quickly laughing and
Michael
got
Caine
into it.
is like the best Scrooge
yeah.
they could have gotten.
Oh my gosh.
So here's what happened. When I think I've told this story, but it's a story that's well known. So Michael Caine was hired for the movie, and I think the story goes that they approached him and they said, "Okay, hey, how do you want to do this?" And he was like, "Well, there's the only way is to play it straight. I'm going to play this as if I'm Ebenezer Scrooge, and the Muppets are real people. Like,
Yeah.
there's no distinction here." And so this movie is at the top of a lot of lists for Christmas Carol for the best version
Right.
of the Christmas Carol. Because that stupid light. Hold on.
We got Ghost.
Okay, so if you're wondering what just happened, we're in the basement studio here at Creative Morgan for Nerds by Screenlight, and so we have a laundry room to my right and to Phil's right, but to Zoe's left or whatever. And so there's the fluorescent lights in the laundry room because that's what has been there. And so we recently replaced them, and I haven't been able to get the connection right, and so they flicker. And so poor Phil, in his peripheral, it's like a strobe light. So it's like he's part-time at a rave, and it's not really the one he wants to be at.
But it's a fluorescent rave, you know?
Yeah.
Not the same.
It's like a classroom trying to have a rave.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
It's like, woo, no. So anyway, that's why all of a sudden we went from 1 to 1. Okay, so anyway, Michael Caine, his intention and his goal and his thing, he talks about it. He came into this going to play it straight. This is not going to be whatever. And so what I love about this movie is it's equal parts manic, but it's equal parts like heartwarming and touching.
Yes.
And true to the book.
Yes.
Well, and so what I love about this movie, it starts and we get the overture and the dun 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 dun.
Fantastic
And you
soundtrack.
just
amazing open shot too.
yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
When it's going from the just showing the rooftops of
Yeah.
the town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It felt, I don't know how like it really felt, but like it was. The town is like perfect for Muppets and humans to coexist in.
Yeah.
It's like it was purposely made for that.
yeah. It
Did
exists.
they build that or like?
I think what you're looking at as the camera's coming in at the beginning, you're looking at a model. You're looking at
Okay.
a model of the town with the roofs and all this stuff like that. But then when the transition happens from the model to the actual town, I believe it was a studio, a small town area constructed for
a set,
a set.
Okay.
But again, because you have to imagine, so the thing about Muppets is you have puppeteers, and when you watch that intro sequence, there are a lot of Muppets on the screen.
They're everywhere.
And so you have to imagine that every single one of those Muppets has someone's hand.
And each one of them is interesting to look at.
Yeah, they're all distinct.
I caught something I never had before watching this one.
So when they built the stage and the whatever, they had to build it so they could have the human puppeteers sheltered or hidden and underneath and all those kinds of stuff. It works seamlessly. It is one of the greatest openings to a film because it's immediately immersed. There's no question as to where you are. But like to Vicky's point, there is so much going on that you pick up on stuff like the little mice with no cheese, and then
And they show up in two
Mises
places.
with no cheeses.
Mises with no cheese. Yeah.
And you just kind of nod and go, yeah, we don't have cheese. It's so cute.
And so then there's also the scene. Is it the heads of lettuce are getting stolen?
And that's the part
No,
I
the
had caught
pumpkins.
before.
The pumpkins are like,
being stolen
we're being stolen.
And the guy who's driving the thing's like, "Shut up back there!"
And you see a guy grabbing them, and I'm like, oh, that's new.
Yeah, he's actually stealing them. And then there's the Swedish chef with the
Grapes.
yeah, the
They're singing.
The grape. Yeah. And then there's the boomerang fish.
Yep.
Boomerang,
Yeah.
My boomerang fish, and it'll go like these. And it's like those are Muppets that have a actual storyline in a lot of the movies and the shows, but they pulled them all out and they had them all serve a purpose. I love the Great Gonzo. I love Gonzo. He is one of my
Yeah,
favorite.
him and Rizzo are the best. and
They
they're-
are so
Rizzo
good.
is my spirit animal in this whole movie.
I was thinking about that because you said that on
Yeah.
the podcast, and I was thinking about that while I was watching it, and
Yeah.
I'm like, this poor mouse,
He
this
gets abused
rat,
the whole time.
like right at the beginning, like when they're talking, like and they're like looking through a window, and Gonzo uses Rizzo to like wipe the window.
And I was like,
down.
that's the beginning of him getting abused.
Thank you for making me a part of this.
Yeah,
What?
I saw that, and I was like, this poor guy.
So yeah, and so when you I'm Gonzo and I'm Charles Dickens. No, you're not. I know the story like the back of my hand. Prove it. Oh, on the back of my hand, it's
There's
it's
a
like
mole.
I got a
no,
mole
no.
and a cut on my wrist from when
It's
I
like,
fell
no,
on my
no,
bike.
no. And I was like, that's me in my classroom with my kids. That's not the question I meant to ask you. This is what I'm trying to say. Oh, I was like, oh, jeez.
So
Okay.
so we get the front loading of what we're about to experience, and then he's like, okay, well, when he's right coming out the corner right there, and Michael Caine blows up, just like I don't know what metaphor to use, but he literally takes this movie by the lapels and just pulls you in and says, "Let's go." And you just, it's
Yeah.
nonstop. Like he is a brutal, evil, mean old man.
Even with the walk and the.
Yeah, just
Oh, the way they timed the soundtrack with his
Yeah.
steps, I noticed
yeah,
that.
it's definitely
It's like
intentional.
Vader.
Ooh,
Yeah.
who's the composer of this film?
Yeah.
It is so good.
But it's so brilliant because you immediately understand, and they sing a song about him.
Yes. And then he
Like,
looks
there has
back
to be
and
some
they all
good inside of
stop.
him. Nah.
Look at the time. Oh, look at the time.
Oh yeah, gotta go. He's just like, bah humbug.
Humbug.
But he just this humbug.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
real deep and
Yeah.
throaty and
Yeah,
ooh.
just it's fantastic. So I love that whole the opening town because you get a sense of how big this is. You know you're going to be back in these streets again, and then we're into Scrooge's business. And Kermit
Again,
the
I love the rats.
Kermit the
They're so cute.
yeah.
It's the only time I like rats.
Kermit the Frog is Bob Cratchit.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's no other way that you could have done the Christmas Carol without Kermit the Frog
Yeah.
being Bob Cratchit. But to your point, the rats are this whole scene this whole moment is fantastic because they're like, oh, go and ask him, boss. Mr. Scrooge, could you turn on? He's like, how would they like to be an unemployed? And then heat wave going on the islands. Dun, dun, dun.
Hilarious.
They always go back on what they're trying to do.
Right.
They're like, no, it's the frog's idea. It's not ours.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Like 30 minutes is not enough time off on Christmas. Can we get the whole day?
And Kermit does play a good game. Like, well, there's no one else is going to be open.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to do any business.
It's like, fine.
Yeah, fine. It's a poor excuse to pick a man's pocket
Yes.
on Christmas
Since
Eve.
I'm the only one who understands that,
Yeah.
take the day off.
Take the day off, and then Bob Cratchit Lee. Oh no! So this
They
whole
sing this sweet
nephew.
little
yeah
song.
nephew
Oh,
shows
yeah,
up.
nephew.
Well, no, not before the nephew shows up. We have Beaker and Dr. Bunsen.
Oh, yeah. Asking for a donation.
I swear, Beaker flips him off.
I
when he
agree.
leaves.
I agree.
Like,
He holds up one finger and you're not sure which one it is.
yeah, I told
I
Zoe, I
agree.
was like, he's definitely flipping him off. He is cursing him
I
out
agree.
right now.
I agree.
I love how poor Bunsen Honeydew is like, and how much can we put you down for, sir? And they're just like, I know what to do with the poor. And you're just like, oh dear mother of pearl, he's gonna kill him.
It's just like, I don't know what to say. And Beaker is like, it's exactly what to say.
He's speaking for us in the audience. so he throws him out. The nephew shows up, and he is like, I love. So every actor in this movie was definitely cast perfectly.
Yeah.
That nephew is such a happy, joyful. Oh,
He's not going to let anyone bring him down.
No.
but
Even his uncle.
Uncle.
Can't steal his joy.
You celebrate Christmas in your way, and I'll celebrate it in mine. You're just like, oh my
Man,
god.
he's
just like,
he's an
Merry Christmas, Happy
inspiration.
New Year.
He's an inspiration
Yeah.
of
For
like, hey,
Yeah, he definitely. And so then the little like caroler, oh, a penny for your
the
tuppence.
little rabbit.
And then he slams the door.
You know, there's a story behind the rabbit.
Okay.
So I've read two different stories. Number one, he was too cute, and they forced the puppeteers to use him, so the puppeteers didn't like him.
Okay.
So they abused him in this movie. That's one story.
Yeah.
Another story I've heard is that he was originally supposed to be like the Kermit the Frog type character in the Muppets,
okay.
but something about like he ended up getting switched with Kermit like early on in the Muppets. But so there's like rumors that the puppeteers hate him. His name's Bean, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Bean the bunny.
Being the bunny.
That's a terrible name.
So
for
Bunny
him.
gets the door.
Bean.
Right.
Yeah.
No one's like, I could see that them not liking
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
So Bean gets the door shut in his face. And
And a
then
wreath
he
thrown at
walks
him.
away, and then the door opens, and like you can see him going, "Oh, am I gonna?" And then Scrooge throws the wreath at him.
Yeah.
Throws. At
And you
the
think
little
about it, that's like
bunny.
a holly wreath. That's sharp.
Yes.
Poor bunny's gonna need a hospital visit for urgent care or something. My headphones are all tangled up in my chair now. It's gonna be fine. It's on fire, but it's fine. I'm trapped and I can't get out.
Oh, no.
It's like those old commercials. I've fallen and I can't get up.
Oh,
I need
Life alert.
Life alert.
This podcast has been brought to you by Life Alert.
Oh, let's not. Let's not.
Are you the Bean the bunny that got hit by a wreath?
Oh, my
Have you
Lord.
fallen and you can't get up? Call Life Alert now. Poor bunny.
No. Let's not do
this-
that for us to get another sponsor.
And this whole time, Rizzo's getting abused as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's getting kicked off of everything, and
Chased by a cat.
Okay, we'll get there.
yeah, stop playing with the cat.
We will get there. Believe you me. Oh my goodness. So I thought I should have kept count, but every scene that Rizzo is in,
should've.
he's eating something.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love it.
And it's something
And
different
and
every
it is
time.
and in the credits is actually Rizzo's personal caterer.
Oh, wow. At one point,
That's so
he's eating
great.
like plastic food. He's like,
Yeah.
I think I noticed the texture was weird.
Yeah. So yes. So they leave. So the shop closes down. This is so for also to understand why this movie is so close to a lot of Muppet fans' hearts. Is this is the first movie after Jim Henson's death, and it was the first time really that Kermit had been in a film. Now. They had done a Muppets show with after his death, in which they all talked about the death of Jim Henson, and in the end, Kermit finally shows up at the end of the TV show with a new voice because Jim Henson was the voice of Kermit.
Right.
There's a scene where Kermit is walking down the streets or is looking into the sky.
yeah, right
and
after his
there's-
song.
and there's a star.
I've heard
and
this.
that was a tribute to Jim Henson.
I think there was another one.
Okay.
Yeah, the star is definitely a tribute, but
Yeah.
I think when they're in the future
Yeah.
and Tiny Tim is dead and he's talking about meetings and passings and goings,
Yeah.
I think that's also
Oh yeah.
because I'm listening to that. I'm like, dude, he's talking about Jim.
Yeah, that's right. I had forgotten about that element. So like when we talk about Muppet history, you can't talk about the Muppets without Jim Henson. Jim is and
man.
was he was the man. He was the creative genius behind the Muppets. A lot of stuff from Sesame Street came out. Like Jim Henson was the man. Fraggle Rock.
That was basically my childhood.
Yeah, he also
Grew
did.
up on
What
those.
was the Dark Crystal? Jim
Yeah.
Henson.
Oh, I love that.
Just
The Labyrinth
Yeah,
too.
just
Even one of my favorites.
yeah. So Jim Henson's his reach and impact in film cannot be understated. And the loss of Jim Henson at a young age, at such a young age, really had an impact on a lot of people. And it's had an impact on the Muppets because there are people who are carrying the Muppets on, but sometimes it's hit or miss. The first Muppets movie with he was okay. Got to do this. Got to do the research. You think I would have this in my head?
The one with frog legs, right?
No, that was not. That was the first Muppets movie, but
That's the one I've seen.
movie with Jason Segel. So, 2011, the Muppets came back to the big screen via Jason Segel and Amy
Adams.
Amy Adams. Yep.
Yep.
Amy Adams. And that was an amazing return. Like everyone loved it. It was like, this is the Muppets are back. And then Muppets Most Wanted came out, and it was disappointing and heartbreaking, and it was sad, and it wasn't good. It wasn't my favorite Muppets movie. I just was disappointed. And I loved Muppets from Space. I love that.
I need to rewatch it. I've seen it I remember loving it as a kid.
I've never seen it.
neither.
That
If you love Gonzo, I mean,
it's so wacky. That movie, so at the end of the show, we always close with a scene where he says, "The raspberry flapovers will be out in a moment. The kitchen is closed." That's an actual scene that was cut out of Muppets from Space.
Oh.
It was in the commercials for it, but it never made it into the movie. So there you go. So we're back to Muppets Christmas Carol because I jumped us around.
I think we're at the part where they just closed the shop.
Close the shop, and there's. I love this movie because it's so wacky. The Penguins ice skating party,
yeah. Hi, penguins.
and it's just totally normal.
And then Gonzo's like, "Hey, Rizzo, skate." And this is where I'm like, Rizzo is my spirit animal because he's like, "I don't think this is a good idea." It's like, it's not a good idea.
But it's so cool because it's played for laughs, but it's also played seriously. Like, yeah, every year the Penguins, they have their ice skating party. This is what we do at Christmas, and so it was a lot of fun, and I really like it. So then we get to Scrooge's home, and the face on the doorknob, which in most productions is the Marley face.
Yeah.
In this case, it's one of Statler and Waldorf. And it's so terrifying.
It is. I was like, whoa.
They did a really great
But-
job.
That
with
was a cool effect.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
like, ah!
So that was, how did they do
So-
that? It has to be.
I'm guessing it was probably a puppet
Okay.
in the door, but it was done probably through maybe a little CGI. But they really did a lot of cool stuff with this movie.
Yeah.
They really did some groundbreaking stuff. So we get, so Scrooge goes home and he has his fireplace going.
Oh my gosh, this is the part that kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies when it says he has to go into each room and make sure that there's nothing there.
Yes.
Oh, that would creep me
Yeah.
out. I wouldn't want that job.
Yeah.
I want to talk about how Rizzo and Gonzo get into to his property.
Okay.
So there's like a gate outside, and Rizzo's on the top, and he's like, "I don't know about this," and Gonzo's like, "Go ahead."
Heights and falling, my two least favorite things.
Yeah, he's like, "Go ahead, jump. I'll catch you." Which of course he doesn't.
Nope.
And then he's like, "Oh, I forgot my jelly beans." and then he just walks through the bars and comes back, and Gonzo's like, "You can just walk through those?"
Like, yeah. And then Gonzo says, "You're an idiot."
Yeah.
What?
And is this a scene where like it might be later on, but like where Gonzo's just like staring at Rizzo, and
This is the scene where he's
and,
just like,
and he's like just looking at him like, really? And then Rizzo just gives him a
Oh,
little kiss.
He kisses him on the nose.
Yeah, he's
Boop,
like,
boop to snoot, boop to snoot.
I was like, oh, that is adorable, but it's funny as heck
It was
too.
so cute.
I think that may not have been in the script. I don't know. Because here's the thing: if you've ever watched the behind the scenes or the bloopers on any Muppets program, they go off the script.
Oh, I
Or
bet.
they'll do stuff, and you're just like, okay, we're keeping that. So I feel like maybe, and I'm probably wrong. It just feels like that
It
moment.
fit, though.
It's just like boop.
It was just the way like Gonzo's like staring at him like, you've got to be kidding me.
Well, and I love how he's talking about all these jelly beans, but it's just one big jelly bean that he's just gnawing on. But yeah.
Oh, they were in my pocket. Like,
this whole time.
So they get to Scrooge's property, and Scrooge is, Marley and Marley show up, and I love
It was epic.
Yeah.
It is equal parts scary
And funny.
Where Marley and Marley moo.
And it's just like, you're criticizing me. You always criticize me. It's a little humor there.
Yeah.
it's so haunting. Those chains, if you like, they talk about the avarice and greed and how these chains that they forged in life have now bound them in the afterlife and death. And the chains actually reach out and try and grab Scrooge.
But you can tell they're real chains.
Yeah,
on it.
Yeah.
those
that was
are
amazing.
real and legit. And he's like, no, I don't want this. What am I doing? But yeah, having Statler and Waldorf be the Marley brothers,
Perfect.
I
It was
loved
amazing.
it so much. And that song is every single song in this movie is epic.
They're
And
all bops.
it's just
Yep.
yeah, they slam.
This was me the whole time, and
Yeah.
Phil's just looking at me like, "What are you doing?"
No, I like the songs.
Yeah.
We'll get to it because
Yeah.
we're about to get to the present Christmas past. So.
Yeah. So we show up, we get Christmas Past, and it's a big old like, oh no, Christmas Past.
Christmas
is the
Past
angel.
is one that's
Yeah.
like an
The
angel.
Christmas,
I think of it like an
Christmas
angel.
Past is the scariest one.
It
in
freaked
my
him
opinion.
out so
See, I'm like that with Christmas Future. That's the one that to me that's the scariest.
That's the one that's supposed to be the scariest.
Yeah.
But I don't know, something about her face and the red hair and
yeah.
it's very spectral. Like she creeped me out.
All right, I have a weird question for you, Phil. How do
Sure.
you feel about porcelain dolls?
Okay, see, I don't like that either.
See, I think there's a connection.
I think that's what it is because
Yeah.
like the
No.
face is just
You too.
it's like
freak me
uncanny
out.
valley.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not nice.
So anyway, we get that, and so then she's going to take him to Christmas Past. She's so genteel and nice, and then there are so many moments. So this movie is great because it is the Christmas Carol told, and Vicki actually mentioned this when we were watching it. They use a lot of the original text with Gonzo's narration and with the words
Like you can tell.
that they're using. They're actually reading pretty well from the actual book itself. But there's moments in this movie where we break the fourth wall or it is a absolute Muppet invention. And the moment I love in this movie is when Gonzo is swinging the it's like a what do you call that thing? Like a grabber or like a
grapple or
yeah, grapple. Thank
Yeah,
you. Like,
grapple,
he's
yeah.
swinging the grapple, and he's like, "Hold on." He's like, Rizzo's like, "What?" And he's like, "Just hold on." I love how Ebenezer doesn't say anything in reaction to it being tied around his leg.
Well, and then the whole time we're like, actually, where did it land? Because it looks like it's coming straight from like the middle of him,
Yeah, yeah.
hanging down.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
So they take off. So Gonzo says, "Hold on." He's like, "What? Just hold on." And Rizzo is losing his mind.
Again, spirit animal. That anyone would be doing over a city. Anyone.
and then they go through all the trees.
They're slamming them into
So
everything.
yeah, so he hits.
When the
hits-
first time I watched this movie, he landed, and I'm like, oh, there's going to be a cat. And then there was.
Yeah.
It's so
So
funny.
he runs into a lady in the forest. Sorry, ma'am. Ah! Sorry, sir. Sorry. He just keeps running into people. And so then they get out and they're covered in everything. And there's now Gonzo in the Muppets mythology, Gonzo has relationships, has a girlfriend that is a chicken. And so
Yeah,
when he-
and her name Lucy or something.
yeah, something like that. That's probably not the right name. Anyway, so he introduces
Interesting.
the chicken to Rizzo. Oh, Rizzo,
I
meet
mean,
Louise.
you
Or,
know.
no, it's Louise.
Louise. I was
Louise.
close.
It's Louise. So he introduces us. No, this is Gertrude or whatever. Oh, nice to meet you. And then they eventually, surely land. And he's like, oh, thank God we're safe. And then there's
There's
a
the
cat
cat.
right there. And he's like, oh,
Ugly
no.
cat too.
Yeah.
I mean, they couldn't have got a.
Well, and I love how he's like, stop playing with the cat, and he's like, I mean, obviously he's not playing with the cat. He's trying to get
Again.
away from the cat.
Again, Rizzo was like, really?
Rizzo's like the star of the show.
Yeah,
For
yeah,
real.
yeah.
Absolutely. So they get the cat chases him around as Gonzo is narrating and things are happening, and then they're like, "Oh, let's get inside the schoolhouse," and they close the door and this cat slams up against it. Like that was my favorite thing there. So then we get to see Ebenezer as a kid, and I really like how they really leaned heavily into this. The kid actor, I don't think it was meant to be really well acted.
Yeah.
I think it was just meant to be kind of a representation of his childhood.
Yeah.
So in that way, I think it succeeds. I do love that his headmaster is Sam the Eagle, who in Muppet mythology is an American puppet.
Yeah, that's
And
and
he's
he's like,
It's the American
American
way.
way.
I mean,
Gonzo's
the
like,
British way.
No, Gonzo's like, Sam. Oh, the British way.
I love how he like keeps repeating business.
Business. You're going to do well in business.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I think if you really if you wanted to dig into it and extrapolate, this is his memories. So what he remembers is yes, headmaster, business, the British way, business. That's all he remembers of his childhood because that's all he was focused on. He doesn't remember. He remembers his friends, but that's it.
Yeah.
There's no oh well, I was buddies with them and we hung out. There's none of that. It's just those are my schoolmates. But I never hung out with them because I always stayed at school throughout the year. And so there's really that isolating element where Scrooge, even at a young age, was isolating himself from friends, from people, and was focused solely on business and doing business and making that money. And I love how the movie doesn't lean too heavy into it, but it does enough where you're just like, man, it started all the way back then. And then we get a cool montage as Ebenezer grows up and everything like that. And then the school building starts to fall apart. And then
You're going to be as strong as this foundation. And then the bookshelf falls.
God, I've been meaning to fix that. I'm like, you don't see Gonzo and okay.
Okay.
it's like, okay. But I love how like there's moments where they'll engage with the actual the characters, like the Sam thing, which is like, hey Sam, oh the bridge is way. So they are clearly actors. They are like, but it's like this.
Yep.
The suspension of disbelief is only a little bit. So then So
The
now,
party.
Now we go to party.
Yep.
Okay, so we're gonna go to the Fezziwigs party, and I love.
I feel like the only reason Fonzie's in here is so that they can make that joke of Fozziewig.
Yeah.
It is.
That's very
I was
clever.
like, that is just too perfect.
It
Of
is.
course,
It's fantastic. We get to see Statler and Waldorf, or the Marley Brothers as younger, and still heckling. We get to
It
see.
was short. It was pointless. I loved it.
I feel that.
Is this before or after they show that he had a girlfriend?
Before.
Before.
Yeah.
So
We're
he
getting
meets.
there.
So he meets her here.
Yeah.
He meets the girlfriend here.
Okay, right,
He's
yeah.
introduced to her, and it's like, oh la la la. And it's like good things are happening, and then fast forward, and the Ghost of Christmas Past says he's like, oh please don't show me that Christmas, and then the ghost is just like, nope, we're going.
Too bad.
And so we go
Like,
to
you need this.
Yeah,
Yes.
we go to the next meeting. So, and this is probably what you're going to talk about. So this next scene is where they're in like a little kind of pond area or park area.
On a bridge.
And a bridge, whatever. And Ebenezer and the girlfriend, and so they're engaged, but the engagement has been going on for quite some time. You know, the markets haven't, the business has not been as good. The money hasn't been as good. She said, you said that last year.
And she's like, dude, you're like literally a partner of your own
Yeah.
like business. What
Yeah.
do you mean?
Yeah,
It's not enough.
we can do this, but he's so focused on making enough money and making more. So in the normal release, the theatrical
So at this point, they just cut to
Rizzo
Rizzo
in,
crying.
in tears.
And I looked at Zoe. I was like, does that seem a little odd to you? She said she thought it was fine.
Yeah. But
But
there's a whole scene
yeah,
that is in the middle of it that got cut in the theatrical release. It's been restored, I think, in
It's like the extras.
yeah,
on
it's
Disney
well
Plus.
in some versions it's been fully restored, so it's actually a part of it. But there's a song in which Ebenezer and the girl sing to each other or sing through the breakup.
and it's a sad song.
It is an
But
absolute
do you remember like she's smiling the whole time she's singing it?
yeah.
Do you think that maybe that's why it got cut? Or
No, well, I think it's cause, so here's the thing. We're talking about kids, right? And you want to make a pretty straightforward story. And what they said is that it confused people, that song. They confused some of the kids because again, she's smiling.
she's
maybe a little bit.
smiling, she's like happy.
Yeah, and so there was that, but it was also like it's a sad song.
Yeah.
I even think just this scene was really sad.
Yeah.
Period. Because it's like, wow, you're like giving up the love of your life
Yeah,
for money.
and for business. And so the song has an impact, and for a long time, for many years, there was a lot of people who were asking Disney, hey, restore this scene, or at least give it to us in the special features or whatever. And they did, and it is, if you watch it with that scene, the reason why Rizzo and Gonzo are in tears makes a lot more sense. Because it's sad. It is a heartbreaking scene. And I think to your point is that, yeah, they didn't want people to be too sad going into the next scene. But it also, as in the sense of a story, in the sense of the story and what needed, I think it was necessary. And is it hard? Is it sad? Do people cry? Yeah, absolutely. But it makes a lot more sense why Rizzo and Gonzo are in tears at the end of that, because Scrooge just gave up the love of his life. He just ended his engagement because he was more interested in business. So I don't know, if you get a chance, it's probably on YouTube somewhere.
Okay.
You can go watch it. It's also, if you rented it or bought it or whatever, it's on the special features on Disney Plus, or I think Disney Plus actually has a special edition somewhere in there. So yeah, it's a real interesting study in kind of what would have been had it stayed in.
Okay.
It's still a great movie without it, but you're just like, that makes it really brings home Scrooge's and why what he did was so awful and why he's been so bereft of emotion and whatever you want to call it.
Totally.
So, so now where are we going from here? I gotta remember.
The Ghost of Christmas Present, who is my favorite.
Come and know me better, son, better man.
He's basically
absent-minded
Santa.
too.
Yeah, he's Santa.
Well, because I was like, wait, his hair is changing colors throughout the
Yeah.
entire
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
It's super cool. The size
and
changes.
it's very sad. That part broke my heart.
Yeah.
Because
Just
he
how
wants him to
fast he
stay.
aged because he only
Yeah.
lives
In the
Christmas
present,
night.
Yeah. So they go to see Tiny Tim. They go. So I love this because they go to Fred, and Fred makes up a game, and the game is an unwanted,
It's like 20 questions
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, yes or no.
an unwanted animal, la la la, and he's like, "Oh, it's just too perfect. It's Scrooge," and you can see Scrooge just kind of goes,
Wow, my own nephew.
"Ooh." What I love is the redemption at the end of the movie that comes. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
This is one of the best endings to a Christmas Carol movie. Just
Yeah.
it's so good, and it's not too much. Anyway,
Yes.
we'll get there. So they go to the Fred's house, and then we go to Bob Cratchit's house, and I love Miss Piggy.
Oh, she's the best.
It's what? I don't like-
Bettina, I'm Bettina. No, I'm Belinda. Whatever.
Oh, I love her at the end.
I think
when
she's perfect. Oh yeah, when
I'm gonna raise you off the pavement.
And you don't doubt that she would. Like, you're
No.
like, all right.
What
Miss
did, she,
Piggy
what did she
mad.
say? Something like, I'm going to give him a piece of my mind and strangle him with it. Something like that. I'm like, that's a good line.
yeah,
Yeah. So so Miss Piggy is obviously the wife of Bob Cratchit. She's got twin pig daughters.
yes.
But they also have two frog boys. You got Tiny Tim, and then the guy who's constantly turning the spit.
It's always the frog doing the work.
Yeah, I think I
always-
think his only job is to turn the spit because every time we see him in the scene, he's turning the spit for whatever.
Which Rizzo and Gonzo pour chimney ash all over.
I love it. You're right. Yeah. They don't really mention that after that. They just kind of move past it.
Well, the he's like, don't clean the chimney at a time like this. I can't get the smell.
So
So stupid question. What's worse, Rizzo landing on the flaming hot goose
Goose.
or his tail being lit on fire?
His tail being lit on fire.
That's worse. Like the rat, the rat, like the rat, the rat.
Yeah, I was like, there's a theme here. They like setting this rat on fire, man.
Poor Rizzo.
And then he's like an ice cube.
yeah.
Yeah.
He breaks him. He goes, I suppose I should thank you for that.
And then he goes, "You're welcome."
They're so
I love it so much. So Rizzo is digging into the chimney and then falls, and he dances on that goose for quite some time because we don't see him until he's sitting with with Gonzo, and his feet are steaming from landed on a flaming hot goose. That's one of my favorite lines. Landing on a flaming hot goose. Yeah, it's good stuff. So we get to know that obviously Tiny Tim is suffering. His health is poor. Something's going wrong. And Scrooge asks, what's the future hold? And the ghost of Christmas Present says, I don't know, but I see an empty chair by the fireplace next Christmas or whatever. And that begins now the transition into
the future.
to the Christmas yet to
This one
come.
scares me.
I think that puppet is awesome. He looks so cool.
It is
He's
so
massive too.
Yeah, it's so brilliant.
It reminded me of the Scrooged
okay.
Ghost of the Future
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it's
yeah.
kind of the same vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's but you don't see his face.
And he doesn't
Right.
talk.
No, doesn't talk.
Right.
Just points.
Just points.
So scary.
But he also pulls him along,
Ooh,
and like the hands.
I really don't like it.
Yeah, his
And the
hand-
swirly thing is
Yep.
just so sinister and
Yep.
Oh, yeah,
dark.
the portals.
Yeah,
Again,
I was
Rizzo-
like, he's opening up a Mortal Kombat portal
Yeah.
right now.
Like literally. And just how they walk through that is kind
Yeah.
of interesting.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat universe confirmed.
Yeah.
The Muppets and the Mortal Kombat, the thing you never thought would happen together.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Oh yeah.
I do think he's really courageous though to be like, I'm open to this.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think again, the beauty of how this story works is we see Scrooge slowly but surely learning. He's not fighting it at every turn. Like there's this uncovering of the old Scrooge and the Scrooge that has yet to come is like we're starting to see that, and he's not fighting it all the way. He's not resisting it. He's kind of going, oh my gosh, like I've done horrible things to these people.
Yeah.
But he doesn't get to negotiate his way out of that, because I think he asks the ghost of Christmas to come, please spirit no more. And he doesn't get a break. He doesn't get a reprieve. He is on. We're going. We're going to the bone. The effect of the smoke as the Christmas past ghost or Christmas future shows up. I love that smoke because just. And you can't. The camera doesn't flinch away.
Nope.
And it just whoosh. It's there.
Yeah, and Gonzo and
Rizzo,
Rizzo's
I
like,
love the like.
we're
We're out. Nope.
see you in the
See you in the
final.
final. Finale, yeah.
Feel you definitely.
This is too scary. We gotta go. We'll see you in the finale. And they just abandon us.
Yes.
It's like no. But I think also that allows, again, if you really want to dig into the literature, the kind of story of it is that now we have to face it alone. And so,
because he's dead.
right. And so as we have to face the ghost of Christmas future on our own, as does Scrooge. He is no longer helped. There's no one there to help. There's no one. It's just him and us. We are in with Scrooge in confronting our future of Christmas, and I love it as a storytelling device because it reinforces for us this could be you. You could be Scrooge, and you would be having to face your mortality and your death. The scene with the spider collecting all the things is just unsettling and creepy. You've got the blankets. They're still warm.
I'm not
Like,
giving you more money.
He's like trying to flirt with him, and one of them is like, ooh, and the other one's like, don't stop.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a very.
It's like there is a deep story and a sinister one behind that.
And I love how they lean into it. They don't skirt away from it. They do it.
It's like a pimp, really.
Yeah,
Honestly.
kind of.
Yeah, it's very creepy, and you're not meant to be okay with it. Like you're meant to struggle with this scene as that plays out, and you're standing there with Scrooge, watching them go through all his things as he's dead. We know he's dead. We figured out the mechanic here, but Scrooge is slowly but surely figuring out someone died, and it could have been me, and obviously it is. And then his friends are talking about him, whatever, and then
I only show up if lunch is provided.
yeah.
I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I love those characters because they don't really change. They're just as unfeeling as ever. And then we get to see like who is this? Who is it? And it's Ebenezer. He's the one.
Which that scene, his acting is so amazing because I've only really seen Michael Caine in like comedies.
Yeah.
And like him crying and like that was so intense.
Yeah, he like this. When was this movie made anyway?
92.
92. So
just born.
Michael Caine has always been an
You're today
incredible.
years old.
Yeah.
Michael
Couldn't resist. Sorry.
Michael Caine has always been an incredible actor. But I think certain films have given us just how good he is.
Yeah.
In this movie, because he unfolds that character slowly but surely. And so when we get to the point where he is staring down that's real emotion. That is him feeling that. And that's the point people talk about why he's such a good Scrooge, because he emotes. And you see in him, you hear in him the pain and the suffering and the struggle with acknowledging that could be him soon now. And yeah, it's just I love it. My favorite, and Vicki, we watched this last year. We watch it every year.
Yeah.
And then my favorite transition, they're all amazing. My favorite transition is when he falls to his knees, grabs Death's cloth, and yanks down, and immediately we're back in his bed.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm alive.
But it's like the beauty of it is that
it's seamless.
it's as if he's falling back to reality, falling back to his world, and but it's so cool how he's gripping that, and then it's right back. It is so perfect that you just and immediately okay, we're back, and this movie is great in all ways, but this is where it really gets good. Because now Scrooge has a chance to make a difference. And from here on out, it is just absolute joy. It is like, it's
a big old party, basically.
Yeah.
But it slowly but surely amps it up. It doesn't try and go to the finale too quickly.
Yeah.
But it starts slow. So, and his countenance is brighter. He's smiling. He opens the window, and I think he knocks him down again, doesn't he?
Again. They're like, I think we're safe this time. And I'm like, no, you're not.
Rizzo can't win.
And Bean the Bunny shows up
And there's
again.
Bean the Bunny.
Being a bunny, and so
He
he's
gets
like,
to make it up to him.
yeah, and so he's, he says, "Oh, sorry, I'll give you a shilling. I'll give you." And he throws the money at him, and you can see the money hit the ground. And I love how they acted it because the bunny's just like, "Doo, doo, doo." "Thank you, sir."
Okay, and I love it because the Rizzo and whoever,
Yeah.
whatever his name is,
Gonzo.
Gonzo, are starting to narrate, and he just plows right into him.
Yeah.
Well, so they say when he was off like a shot, and then But here's my favorite thing. The other favorite thing. Sorry, at the beginning when he opens the door and they all fall down, he's saying to the bunny, he's like, "Sir, what?" And he says, "Hey, you rabbit or whatever his name is, or whatever he says to him," and Bean goes, "What?" And then Rizzo and Gonzo look at him as if to say, "That's not the line." And the bunny looks from them back to Scrooge and goes, "I'm sorry, what, sir?"
Yeah.
Like, it's this moment of like the fourth wall breaking where it's like, oh no, these are actors, but now we're back in the story again, where they like the Muppets are real, like this is a
Yeah.
real thing, and they it's the Sam the Eagle thing. No, it's America. No, British way. And so this rabbit who is traditionally probably just a teenage punk, he's like, "What?" And the Gonzo's like, "Dude, come on." Oh, what, sir? And then he says, and he was off like a shot, and he just barrels through them, and he's like, "Oh, sorry," whoosh. And then he comes down and he's singing. What I love about it is that the only interaction that Michael Caine has with Gonzo and Rizzo is at the end, where he pats them both on the head.
That's the only time he acknowledges that they're there.
And I love that, just for the pure just glee of that moment of just going, "Oh, Scrooge is better." Never mind that it's Michael Caine and he's playing it straight, whatever.
Right.
But it's just like this moment of like and they have this look and act of just like in shock that they've been touched by Scrooge. Like, "Oh, we reckon, wow, okay, it's kind of cool." So
And I love when he like goes to make his donation.
Yeah.
And they give him the scarf.
okay, so
Yes.
that moment. I talked with Vicki about this. So up until this moment, Scrooge has been all black, all gray,
Yeah.
whatever. And even now, before this happens, he is.
Yeah.
His countenance is brighter. He has his, but he's all black. He's all gray, still dark. And so the moment where that changes is where he actually donates the money and says, "Then there's many more back payments involved." And they say, "Oh, what we can do for you, sir?" And Beaker, I love Beaker for this because he goes, no. And he says, "Are you sure? Oh my gosh, thank you so much." That red, color-wise, is a signifier of change. Scrooge is no longer the old Scrooge. Scrooge is now a man who is bright red, who has heart, who has passion. He is changed, and he will never be the same again. The moment has happened, and we are now on our way to Party Town. And it's like just that one scarf thing. It's the bright color against the background, and we've got our old Scrooge back from when what he should have been. And I just love that that imagery and the imagery of it, because it's just, I don't know, it's so cool how it just is simple, but it's also like, all right, here we go. And he holds on to that scarf the whole rest of all the way to the end. He goes to his nephew's house, and his nephew is terrified.
That's what I said. I was like, he looks scared.
But then he's also kind of like dumbfounded, like, what
Yeah.
just happened?
Well, I love
And
how
Claire is delighted and maybe a little bit amused.
she just smiles and laughing about it, like, because what's funny is obviously the joke that was had on that he made about his uncle is now coming back to bite him, and so she's just like,
In your
"Idiot,"
face.
in your face. But he's just weirded out, like he just.
He has the reaction I would have assumed that most of the people in the town should have had.
Right.
Like he comes out, "Merry Christmas." It's like, who are you? And
Yeah.
what are you doing here?
what is happening?
Yeah.
Well, what I love about it is that there's a story there. We don't know the story of his nephew. We don't know the story of his brother or sister or whoever she's related to. He's related
There
to.
is in the I did a little bit of research last night. So in the book, the nephew's mother was Scrooge's sister, and she died giving birth to him.
Oh, okay.
But they had a good relationship while she was still alive, and so I wonder. I felt like that was a good clue with their dynamic.
So I like that. So the book, there's more obviously, and it's in the Muppet world. That'd be interesting to see, like, because he was always going to, like, he probably went to Scrooge's office every year, wished him Merry Christmas, tried his best,
Invited him to
dinner, and finally he's just like, okay, he's never going to show up. And the one year that he makes fun of him or whatever, or he did it every year. He
He shows up with gifts.
He shows up with gifts, and so I love the nephew's like just weirded out. And he's in
Yeah.
shock. It's
Yeah,
like
he's
the,
shocked.
the aliens have arrived and he does not know how to act.
Right.
And I just
And the wife is delighted, but also laughing at her husband's reaction, which is
Yeah.
something I would definitely do.
Yeah.
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 Because she's very much me in the scenario.
It makes sense. It seems plausible. So then we continue on. We go to Fezziwig. We go to Sam the Eagle at the retirement home. He gives them
Which is
gifts. I love he uses the earpiece to shake and hear because he obviously can't hear anymore. And then we get to
Bob Cratchit.
Bob Cratchit's house.
I love how Scrooge just invites the whole town over to Bob's house.
And it's like the small, like they can't even all fit in there.
Yeah.
He's like, go get the best turkey. And I'm like, that's not going to feed everybody. Like, they might as well have been better off by themselves with their goose. Like, they would have had more food at least.
So yeah,
I would have been mad if I was Bob. Like, don't bring everybody to my house.
we don't have room for you all. The kitchen is closed.
I also thought it was kind of funny. He starts off like stern, like his
Yeah.
normal stuff.
Oh, and
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is Miss Piggy. Like, I'm gonna raise you off the
pavement. And he's like, I've given you a raise. And I'm gonna. Sorry. And I love how she initially when he shows up, she's mad. So she pulls Kermit back and steps up and says, I'm gonna raise you. And so he says, oh, I'm gonna give you a raise. And she steps back and puts Kermit back in front
Yeah.
because she knows if she says anything more, she's gonna mess it up.
Yeah.
And so she's like, nope, Kermit, you're back.
Sorry, I overstepped a little.
I may have threatened.
Just a little.
I may have threatened to murder your boss by lifting him off the pavement with a punch, which Miss Piggy could have done it.
Totally.
I love
Yeah.
The best part too is like she says that line right after he's like, and I'm going to give you a raise, but it's like the way he says it, like
Yeah.
it's just,
Yeah.
she just thinks that he's like it skips over her.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just,
And then Short Circus is like, what?
wait a minute.
Yeah. And then, of course, he says, I'm going to pay the mortgage on your house.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this for you. Hey, can we come and have dinner with you? And they all walk in, and it's just pandemonium. And it's...
They're singing.
Oh, I know we're at the end, but I forgot one of my favorite parts.
Okay.
It was during Christmas Past,
Okay.
and they're at Fozziwig's
Yep.
and Animal.
Yeah.
Yes!
Oh,
So
Yes.
everyone knows Animal. He's wild. He likes to
Yeah.
go crazy.
Yeah.
But like when they first start playing the band and he's like playing the triangle,
He's so frustrated.
he looks so disappointed, so
Hate
sad.
a song.
And then like whenever like they all start partying, he goes crazy. Like I was like, yeah, Animal, go.
It's like there's some pent up tension there. Like,
Yeah.
finally I can let loose.
Yeah.
I love Animal, man.
Yeah. So then we get Gonzo and Rizzo are back, and they say...
They're like, we said we promised we would.
we
be
promised
Hey,
we'd be
we're
back.
here.
We're here. And then they say, in Tiny Tim, who did not die.
Yeah.
And I love that because they start out going, in Tiny Tim, who did not die. And I was just like, oh my gosh.
So this is kind of funny because before this started, Phil was like, "Does Tiny Tim die?" And I'm like, "Dude, he's the one that says God bless
That's
us everyone at the
everyone, yeah.
end. He
Yeah.
doesn't die." And so when they said that, I was looking at him like,
Yeah.
"See, he didn't die."
Yeah.
Yeah, I love how he says, like, oh, and Scrooge became a second father to him
Yeah.
and all of this stuff. And the end song, which I need to find.
Another bop. I was.
Yeah,
It's the same tune as the love is gone. They just changed the
they changed it,
lyrics.
Love
It's the
is
same
Found.
tune.
And it's all of them. It's everybody from the movie is in
Yes.
that room singing that song, and it's just, there's no more of a beautiful ending to A Christmas Carol than that moment, because everyone's together, everyone's found the Christmas spirit, the world is right again. Scrooge is no longer bah humbug.
And I love that it's I think it's really symbolic that they use the same tune.
Yeah.
Because it's like a redeeming
Yeah.
of that.
Well, and it's a lot. You would know the difference between a minor and a major.
Oh, yeah.
Chord. It sounds a lot brighter.
Yep. Major is happy, minor is sad.
Yeah.
To make it super simple.
Yeah, and so they lean into that major chord. It sounds so beautiful, with all the characters singing and all the voices.
Well, and Phil might disagree with this because when I said it, he was like, "No," but I thought Michael Caine had a pretty good voice.
No, he can't
He's
sing.
not bad.
He can't sing.
I thought
man.
it was pretty good.
And that might be why they
Well,
cut out
he
the
does
other
some
stuff.
like he does some speak singing at some point. It's like I hear listen to him like
Yeah.
he's not a singer, but he's not half bad.
yeah, it wasn't horrible.
Yeah, he did all right.
Yeah.
It wasn't like Pinocchio.
No.
No, definitely not.
It's the one that we should not name.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
The movie
And
that
I
That
think
should
of
not be
avocados now every time that comes up.
We'll just nickname.
That is the science of it.
Someone snorted.
If you, that would be me. So if you're wondering,
I thought it would be Zoe. She
I snort
snorts
too.
if you're wondering what we're talking about, we have an episode a couple episodes back where we watched the Pauly Shore version of Pinocchio.
Don't do it.
It's terrible.
Did not enjoy any of it at all.
Nope.
And we survived to tell the tale, but gee golly willikers, never again.
Barely.
And then to fast forward, I am doing a parody project with my 5th graders. We decided we were singing songs about the history of Colorado, and we're calling the song Avocado. So I found a video for them to watch, and if you slow it down, it sounds just like Pauly Shore.
Yes.
And it was like killing me. It was like right after we did the Pinocchio episode.
Yeah.
Pauly Shore is good for one thing, like the Valley Girl,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
surfer dude, like
In the Goofy movie.
yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So-
Which he plays
Yeah.
surfer dude in
Yeah.
that.
What I did, so I think the pop version of the end song, which plays over the credits, "When Love Is Gone," the pop version was actually done by Martina McBride.
Really?
If you
What?
can believe that.
I can't. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
I have to hear it now.
Yeah.
It's Martina McBride.
That's awesome.
I know.
Yeah. So there you go. That's the Muppet Christmas Carol. It is absolutely.
I'll probably watch it again before Christmas,
Yeah.
honestly.
Oh,
It's-
yay.
It's worth it. It's worth a watch or two. Every Christmas we do. I sit
Well,
down.
I feel
and
like I probably missed some stuff. You know,
Yeah.
like just little things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fun stuff that you'll just kind of chuckle at or cackle at, just
Right.
because it's a movie that, and again we've talked about this before in the podcast. It's a movie that's made to trust its audience. It trusts you not to have to hit you over the head with the symbolism.
Right.
It trusts you not to have to tell you everything. It shows you the way of Scrooge. It shows you the way of the world, and then you reflect on that and you go, man, what a change this guy and this world has gone through. So there
What
you
do
go.
we rate it?
Oh, 11. 11 out of 10.
To say 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any flaws.
No.
Yeah, 10 out of 10 for sure.
It's stuck the landing. There's
Right.
no question there.
Phil, what do you rate it?
Well, you guys all gave it 10. So
Anything less is
yeah,
blasphemy.
I guess so.
I
Well,
still
I
have
was
something
going
to
to say
throw.
9.
Okay. And that, you know
Fair.
what? I'll take a 9. I'll take a 9.
Just because, like, I wish the Muppets had more time to Muppet.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, because they're really toned down for this movie. And
So yeah, if you want to see Muppets really Muppet, Muppet Treasure Island with Tim
Yeah.
Curry,
We need to see that
It's
together.
so good.
Tim Curry.
the black spot.
This is for you. You gave me the black spot.
yeah.
It's so zany. Muppet Treasure Island, Muppets from Space, the original Muppet movie with the frog legs. Muppets Go to, I think there's another one. Muppets Go to Hollywood or Muppets Go somewhere. And then
I think it is Hollywood.
yeah, let's go Hollywood. There's a couple there, and then the Muppets original reboot, not reboot, but rebuilding with Jason Segel. Muppets Most Wanted was no good. The TV series, the Muppet Show, the original Muppet Show, and then Muppets Tonight are actually quite good if you can find them on DVD or find them on Disney Plus.
That's what I used to
They're really
watch.
fun. Muppet Show is just brilliant. It's everything like the zany Muppets that you're looking for.
Yeah.
It's just fantastic. So. There we go. All right. Well, this will be the last episode because we will not be here next week to do an episode. I know. What are we going to do with ourselves? So we won't be back in the studio until January. So you won't have a new episode from us until January 2024.
In the new year.
In 2024. Woo! Celebrate good times. I guess we can end the episode with what are your hopes for the new year? What is your hope for 2024?
Oh, dude.
I know.
No, I don't think that far ahead very well.
Heavy.
I'm going to graduate.
Yay!
It'll be fall, but I'll be
Okay.
done.
Yay! Yay for graduation.
It'll be my last year before I am fully licensed
Oh, boy.
professional counselor.
Woo!
So,
Wow.
No.
yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I got
that'd
to
be
take
cool.
a very expensive test, like $500 test
Ugh.
that I have to pass because I'm
Oh,
not paying twice.
$500.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Oof.
Yeah, because I have to take like the national counseling exam. So fun times.
That's no fun.
No, it'll be fine.
It's gonna be great. You're gonna do one. You're gonna do wonderful. Any hopes for 2024?
I want my February concert to go well. 4th and 5th grade. We're doing Colorado history.
Okay.
5th graders, I have them do their own song, and they're doing a rap. And I really, really want it to go well. I'm making it like a rap battle with like
Oh,
6
nice.
girls. I know,
Okay.
Phil. I kind of want you in the room because I'm like,
When
I
is
can't rap. February
go-
29th.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Cool.
hopefully
Amen.
that'll go well. I have one private piano student. I've had people approach me wanting more. I would love more students, but it's very important to me to have a balance between like
Life and home, all that stuff.
yeah.
Which you deserve.
Thank you.
Yep. My wish for 2024 is just for things to continue to continue to be bright and hope filled. This year has been really, professionally and personally, this has been a good year.
And it's just going to get better.
Yeah, it will. And I'm so excited for 2024. The reality of it is that dates and times are arbitrary. There's no real rhyme or reason between what happens next year.
We've had a lot happen this year.
Yeah.
This has been a very
I can't believe
eventful
it's
year.
over. Like,
Yeah.
I know.
the second half went by really fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have an idea for podcast idea.
Okay.
For January. So like, what if we each come up with a movie that by ourselves we think is a 10 out of 10 movie, excluding the Muppets.
Right.
Because apparently everyone is 10 for that one. So we each come up with a movie that we think is 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
And each like week one be Aaron. We watch his movie.
I like it.
And then we do Vicky's. And then
Okay. I'm down for that.
I'm down.
Yeah,
I'm
sounds
gonna have
good.
to like really think of one that's
I
like,
would too.
good, because if I come up in here and Aaron roasts it like he did Jingle Bells, I'm gonna have a problem.
Jingle All the Way is a unique and special, weird little movie.
I like that movie. I would watch it again. I would totally watch it
wouldn't.
again. Really?
Put that cookie down. I said it on the way over here.
That movie is, oh God, that movie is just like
It's iconic.
if you just want to hear Arnold Schwarzenegger sounds, the like it's all through it. And it's
Turbo
like,
Man.
wow, I'm going to eat you. Like, it just sounds like he's going to eat someone at all
Oh
times.
my god.
Yeah, that's
It's not very Terminator-y, but that's for
Ugh.
sure.
It's a little scary.
it is Terminator-y because he's going to terminate you by eating you, I guess.
I guess. Wait, what was the Terminator thing? I'll be right back. Is that-
I'll be
yep.
back.
I'll be back.
I'll be back.
Hasta la vista.
Baby. Yeah, the Terminator's a fun movie. Terminator 1 and 2 is good. The rest of it, no.
Yeah, I didn't see anyone after the second.
T1
so.
and T2,
Yeah.
it's just a lot of fun. All right, well, with that note, we wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy celebrations, and may all your holiday wishes be true, and may your family and friends be with you. And
May your days be merry
We
and
need
bright.
the bells.
no.
I sort of enjoyed
I
the
did
fact that you
too.
hated them so much, but don't understand it. How can you hate the bells?
Because they're annoying.
No, they're the
No, they're
best. Listen. No. You don't understand. You give it a class of second, 25
This is
second
me
graders any
pulling a
instrument.
Zoe
That
and
one sounds the
hitting my
best.
microphone.
Yours
I'm
is
gonna
more
get you in the class
painful.
on a free choice music day. You think
Ow.
that's annoying?
Just,
I played the middle.
Do not give yourself a concussion.
Mine's
please.
soft.
Hurt.
Aaron,
I'm gonna need
it's actually
I'm
red.
gonna need a medical clearance for this.
I do not want to have to go to the... I'm actually kind of mad at you right now. Don't hurt yourself.
We're always off the rails.
I'm fine. It's fine.
my
Everything's fine.
gosh.
It's all blurry,
Aaron.
but it's fine.
Oh my gosh.
I can't.
Please, no concussions. We're about to go on vacation.
It's fine. It's fine. No concussions. We're great. All right. Well, this has been the final episode of 2023 for Nerds by Screenlight. My name is Aaron,
I'm Phil.
I'm Zoe.
Vicki.
and we'll see you next year.
Yeah.
Bye.
The raspberry flapovers will be out in a moment. The kitchen is closed.
You've been listening to the Nerds by Screenlight podcast, presented by Create at Morgan Productions, located in Fort Morgan, Colorado, USA. For more information on our production house, other podcasts hosted here, and further details, please visit www.createatmorgan.org. You can find us on Twitter at the handle CreateAtMorgan. Create at Morgan is a school club at Lincoln High School, our alternative education campus in Morgan County. Our sponsor is Aaron DeLay, the language arts teacher at Lincoln. Send any feedback to adelayedteacher@gmail.com. Thank you for listening to our podcast.